Hello and welcome to Flix and Chill with me, Luke. Today I have a very special guest on my show. Joseph is here. So, Joseph, why don't you take it away and please introduce yourself?
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. Looking around my room, I have plenty of orange because it's almost football time in Tennessee. So
Hmm.
last time I was in a SBDM podcast, it was Mike, and we were talking Tennessee sports.
I see, I
I,
see.
I can't wait. I can't wait for him to call me back at the end of football season and have me describe just how it went wrong.
I cannot assist you there. I know nothing about American football. I
Yeah,
don't follow it. I don't really care about it, to be perfectly honest. So, it's one of those things. American football is like, oh yeah, we have a world championship, but the world is literally just America. And it's like, oh yeah, because
yeah,
nobody else cares. And it's
yeah.
like,
No one else cares.
yeah. No,
It's
but
like the idea of them having flag football at the Olympics in LA later this, like not, I almost said later this year. It's not for another couple of years, but
mhm.
like clearly the only reason it's being a exhibition sport here is because of where it's being hosted.
Yeah,
No other reason for them to have it.
correct, correct. No, but so obviously, you're a big cinephile, so am I,
Hmm.
and that's why you're
Yeah.
here. But besides that, Joseph, what makes you you? What are some? Do you have any other interests? To give us some, a bit of about yourself.
I mean, obviously, I've started out that I have a bunch of stuff with Tennessee, like
Hmm.
right above my desk. I'm looking at it now as I speak, but I have some stuff from a couple of years, several years ago,
Hmm.
2016, when they held a American football game, college football specifically, inside of Bristol Motor Speedway,
Mm.
which set the record for the most attended American football game at, I want to say officially it's 130,000 people.
Wow.
So, yeah, they announced it was like 150,000, but I think the official record book doesn't count people like staff, players, things like that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
some other things. I mean, I'm a massive nerd. If you were to ask me anything about the Apollo missions, I'd be like, okay, how much time do you have?
Okay.
Like I got things about space, things about like I'll talk to you about Star Trek all day.
Hmm.
Real for some reason the Titanic's one of my fixations as well, just because for some reason that's just one of those like stories where it feels like it should be a piece of fiction,
Hmm.
but it
Yeah,
is not fiction. It is actually fact.
yeah.
But there's things like that. Like I'm a big science nerd. I'm a space nerd. Love reading about history. If you hadn't been able to figure that out with the Titanic,
Hmm.
but it's just one of those things. Like I like to learn about new things. I like to learn about stuff that I don't really have that experience working
Hmm.
with and be able to understand. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of gives you a little bit of information about me.
No, yeah, I think that's more than enough, really.
Mhm.
So, like, science and, space. So, let's start there. Were you one of those kids that wanted to be an astronaut, like, like age 4 or 5 when you were growing up? Did you have that dream, like, one day I'm gonna go to space, maybe to the moon?
I think a small part of me did for a little
Okay.
while. Ultimately, I don't think that was going to be my calling because the fact that I also do a lot of stuff with agriculture because my undergrad degree was in plant sciences. So,
Hmm.
uh, sticking a little bit more terrestrial, but I still love learning about space. Still like watching videos about it, like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Scott Manley's another great YouTuber that talks about space. Anything like that is just always going to interest me because,
Hmm.
which is hilarious because I remember years ago I was talking to someone mentioned I had never seen From the Earth to the Moon. They're like, "How are you the one person that has not seen it from the Earth to the Moon?"
I
Luckily,
don't
I've
know.
seen it since then, but
I was gonna say I don't know if I've seen it. Is that a TV
yeah.
show or?
It is a mini series from
Yeah.
HBO. Tom Hanks was one of the major producers on it.
Wait, is it from like 90s?
1994.
Here's the thing. Okay, I have seen it, but I wouldn't count as seen it because I remember, like, my mom used to watch it, but I would be
Hmm.
like 6, 7. So I
Hmm.
have like scenes in my mind where it's like, people, stuff,
Yeah.
space
Hmm.
shuttles. I remember
Excitement.
being into exactly, and I remember being into like very cool, but
Hmm.
I never rewatched it. I never seen it as adult. So like, but I remember like the tiny me. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, this seems kind of cool, but I was like 7, so like
Yeah.
at the time I had no attention span to pay, to devote my attention to something like that wasn't
Hmm.
animated. You
Oh
know.
yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. In a weird way, I was the weird one when I was growing up because it would be like one of those things like, oh, the History Channel's on. and
Hmm.
we just stare at the TV for the next 4 hours.
No, like
So,
TV was my jam
mhm,
from like five. But again, like I would mostly be like mostly animated stuff, like animated TV
mhm.
shows. I
Yeah,
was the prime kid when Pokemon started. I was the prime age for that shit. So let
yeah.
me like
No,
I
I
was the
was
ki-
too.
like I was the kid like even in where I grew up in Czech Republic.
Hmm.
Like we also had the like Saturday and Sunday like cartoons, and they started very early on. So I was the
Hmm.
kid who was like, I'm gonna wake up just like 6 a.m. on Saturday
Hmm.
and Sunday just to catch all of them, and they were running until like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was but yeah, I didn't watch documentaries. I watched
No, I mean, I
cartoons.
definitely watched a lot of Pokemon when I was growing up. Yu-Gi-Oh is a great show that I remember watching a lot when I was younger.
I've never
But
seen
no,
that.
it's
I know of it. I never seen
really
Yu-Gi-Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, Yu-Gi-Oh might be a good one that would be kind of fun to have and just take
Hmm.
time to watch. Especially, God, because I was just thinking Yu-Gi-Oh! The abridged series on YouTube by Little Karibo. The idea of it's like we need to take this seriously. This is a children's card game.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just how seriously they take it. But no, it is a very fun series. But for some reason, it's just history was that one like subject of mine that
Hmm.
I would always make sure I did really, really good in school.
Do you have a favorite historical era?
I kind of want to say that period between 1910
Hmm.
and 1945 tends to be the area I look into the most, especially because the fact that it's one of those few eras that I really kind of sit here and think, all right, the ripple effects of this one stone we have thrown into the pond are still being seen today. Like especially like the aftermath of the First World War, because you
Mm.
can really just kind of go back and look and say, that one guy who turned the car with the Archduke Franz Ferdinand the wrong
Mm.
way and just happened to pull into the road Gavrilo Princip was on has such a profound effect that no one could have possibly assumed was going to happen.
Yep, yep. Why 1910?
And just because the fact that that lead up from 1910 up to 1914 when the First World War started,
Yeah, yeah.
some of those tensions actually beginning to build.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
Okay.
like I think I talked about it before, but I kind of want there to be a movie where the start of the movie is the assassin. Obviously, we have stuff going on before then, but the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand,
Hmm.
and just start the movie there. But then the end of the movie is the beginning of the First World War,
Hmm.
and have the rest of the movie be them everyone trying to find some way to avert the war from beginning, and just all the things that had to happen for those failures to culminate into a war.
Yeah.
But just
See,
there's definitely some things not earlier before that. I mean, obviously there's Titanic, but
hmm.
other
Hmm.
things that are happening during that time where you're just like you're just watching the world setting up the dominoes. And
Hmm.
you're just waiting to see who's going to be the one that knocks the first one over.
Yep. See, the thing is, though, like I've always been interested in history, kind of like you. And when you said 1910 to 1945, I was like, oh, that's something we have in common because I was very intrigued ever since I was like 10 by I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why, but World War II. Like yeah, so like 1939 to 45 to the point where I would have books just like assassination of Reinhard Heydrich, the
Yeah.
famous like a third guy in charge, like basically like one of the most evil people ever to live. And
Mm-hmm.
there's even American movies about it, the USA movies about Czechoslovakian people, like
Yeah.
basically, like Operation Apartheid and all that. It's
Yeah. I've not watched that movie, but I really kind of want to watch that movie.
Apparently, it's pretty good. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot about that because again, I had a book that's quite thick. It was like
Mm-hmm.
300-400 pages just about that, and it was like basically talking to different people who at the time were still alive for this book.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were interviewed, and then the author was like, okay, so the first part of the book was just interviews. Oh, I was doing this at that day, and suddenly I hear explosion or that. And then the second part is just how they prepped it, what had to have happened, and the third part was the aftermath, if I remember correctly. But it's been like plus 20 years since I've read it because yeah, I was like I read it when I was like 12,
Yeah.
13. So yeah, I can kind of relate you being, like you being kind of like a nerd and or a history nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm like, yeah, that was I was very specific on like World War II and how fascinating that was.
Yeah.
And now seeing a lot of different things slowly creeping back. Not so, maybe not
Yeah,
so slowly in America.
yeah, yeah. No kidding. I mean, it does. I will say I kind of felt the same way because like I'm looking at some things that are happening like on the other side of the world for me. I'm like, huh.
Hmm.
So this is going on between these two countries. Let me look back at the history and oh look, Czechoslovakia,
Hmm.
1938. Am I the only one seeing this?
Yep, it is what it is. It's just, it's insane.
Yeah. I just you're just waiting for that moment where finally someone's gonna kind of stand up and just like, damn it, stop.
Well, like, there's one thing and one thing only I can say about the current administration, a specific one person. There's always, like, people always said, oh yeah, but he cannot get away with this. Oh, hey, but he can. Okay. Oh, but he
Hmm
cannot get away with this. But he can. So it's like
It's
nothing
like
means
here's
anything.
this is the new red line in the sand. Oh, you cross it. Back
Yeah.
up. Here's the new
Yeah.
line in the sand. Oh, you crossed it. Let me
Yes.
back up. Yeah, it's just like that.
Yes, yes. Like John Oliver put, like, when he did a like his piece about him, like back in 2016, like when he was running for
Yeah.
the first time, right? Like
hmm
he put it very well. Like it's a principle of like the thousand nail bet, you
Yeah.
know, where like you do thousand crazy shit, so none of them stick, and therefore you can lie on it safely. But if he had one big one, it would pierce his
hmm
skin. But
Yeah.
because he does like that and says thousand different stuff every day,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just it's
and it's
so weird. That's the way I kind of have to say it.
it's so weird that literally Stephen Bannon confirmed in a podcast interview, he was bragging about how this is their main strategy: just flood
Hmm
the media with bullshit, so they
Yeah.
cannot focus on anything, and they gonna
hmm
go and get away with anything they want. And I'm like,
Yep.
literally, he's giving it away. The play in
hmm
the like full view, nobody cares.
Yep.
Like nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Unfortunately, the only people that care are the people that are like, "Ooh, I can sell things to get people's eyes on this, so be
Yeah.
able to just click. I can generate clicks with this."
Hmm. Hmm. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
is what it is.
anyway, you mentioned you're from
Yeah,
Tennessee?
Tennessee. Yep.
Yeah. I was like, because I had somebody quite recently, I think from Kentucky. So I was like, oh, I hope I'm not
hmm
confusing you with somebody.
No, you're not confusing me with that. I hope they're not a Kentucky fan because he, I would be absolutely picking at him about various things that are a fan of Kentucky.
Ah, I see, I see.
The
Well,
university, not the state. I should clarify that.
oh, okay, okay. So there is a distinction.
There is a bit of a distinction because
Okay.
I mentioned already. I'm previously on about talking about Tennessee Volunteers college football. My alma mater.
Hmm.
There are other colleges in Tennessee, like there's Vanderbilt, which is one of my school's rivals, which really only matters in baseball right now.
Hmm.
There's a school in Memphis. There's a school in Chattanooga, Kentucky. There's one like, in Lexington. That's the University of Kentucky. There's the University of Louisville. Those two don't like each other, so it's a whole web. I don't know for sure what their fandom would be, but
Yeah.
if they're a Kentucky fan, I'm sorry for their football team.
And again, I wish I could add anything to it. I'll trust
Yeah,
you. Like, I have no
yeah.
idea what's the state of American football right now because, like, I
hmm
don't follow it. But I
Well,
know many Swift folks are very into American football.
hmm
So, yeah, to the point where you guys have some sort of like fantasy league as well?
yeah. I need to get. Actually, I'm the commissioner of that. I need to get that draft scheduled. It might be next week that I finally get that scheduled, so that way we can
Nice.
have a little bit of fun with that.
Nice. Nice. Well, okay, but
Mhm.
let's get back to then Tennessee.
Yeah,
So if
get
I
back
were
on
to,
track a little bit.
yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. So if I were to ask you, Joseph, hey, I'm coming there for a week, just for a 1 week for a holiday, right?
hmm
What would you recommend me to see? Where would you take me, like, to eat? What's something that Tennessee has that no other city, state, or even like, like even maybe in the world, like something else that's only specific to Tennessee?
hmm The first thing I would probably say is, in a way, it would need to be something kind of like you go east to west through the state of Tennessee, because the fact
Hmm.
that the eastern side of Tennessee, you have the Great Smoky Mountains, which are part of the Appalachian Mountain Range, which is funny because a friend of mine and I recently got into a disagreement about how to pronounce Appalachia.
Okay. What was
They're from
the,
New York.
how
I'm
was
from
the,
Tennessee. There's that's where there's a disconnect. I think they were trying to say it was Appalachia.
oh, okay.
But then
Hmm.
there's a town called Appalachia up where they live in New York that might mold exactly how they pronounce it. So
Hmm. Hmm.
50-50, I guess. But there's that. It's part of the national parks in the United States. It's just one of those like it's untapped mountains, forests are completely untapped. Just one of
Hmm.
those like natural areas of natural beauty that's there. Depending on the time of year, I would say Tennessee football game would be good, but it also depends on right now. Right now, the team is good. If it asked me a decade ago, I'd have been just like, just keep going, just don't stop.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
uh, Chattanooga, I would argue, at least when it comes to the United States, has one of the best aquariums in the United States.
Okay.
That would definitely have to be a good stopping place going through Tennessee. Uh, some of the other things that would be kind of good is not far from where I grew up is the town of Lynchburg, Tennessee. And if you've heard of that before, it
Hmm.
might be because of a certain bottle with a black label on it by the name of
Bottle.
Jack Daniels.
I see.
Yeah,
I
that
knew Jack
is,
Daniels was from Tennessee. I just didn't
yeah,
know it was specifically. And also, like, just the name Lynchburg.
yeah.
Like, it sounded like, I wonder why they named it like that.
I don't know if I want to be the one who had to tell you that. Uh, I don't know for sure if that's exactly why they named it, but like the first part of that word doesn't have a great connotation. Say that right
And,
now.
like,
But
historically, even from my country, there are certain towns where
yeah,
if you look at, oh, why is this town named like that? And it's like you go into history, like, oh, that's because
you're like,
they did used to do shit like that. Okay, never
it's like,
mind.
oh, oh,
Hmm.
oh.
Hmm.
It's like
So, okay,
I don't know.
Tennessee.
That's why Lynchburg, Tennessee, was named that way. But like the base word, like Lynch, has a really bad historical connotation.
Yes.
Not enough, I would say, to where I would argue that we need to change the name of this town. It's just one of
Hmm.
those. I need to do more research to know why it was called that for sure. But that's
Yeah.
where the Jack Daniels distillery is.
Hmm.
They do tours there. It's a very good, fun place to go to.
Have you been
Uh,
on a tour?
I've been twice.
Nice.
Yep, it's a fun tour. Obviously, you can't really buy liquor there because of the fact that Moore County, Tennessee, is a dry county.
The
It
fuck?
actually it's kind of a holdover from the Prohibition era in the United States.
I knew there were like dry counties and all that. Like
Hmm.
I am aware of that concept, but
Yeah,
like that's just doesn't make
it
like there's
doesn't
a
sound
whiskey
right
tour.
for where the actual like distillery, one of the most famous distilleries in the world,
Yeah.
is in a county where you can't buy their product. Does sound a little odd.
So you cannot even taste it whilst like you're having the tour.
I don't know if they do. They might do tastings now. I don't know for sure, but they don't like you. If you were to buy a bottle, you have to buy it from the store there,
Hmm.
but you can't buy it. There's no like actual liquor stores anywhere in the county to be able to buy it.
Because to me, like not to jump in, but like I live in Scotland, so which is
Hmm.
many people they are very proud of whiskies here, and they
Yeah,
are like about 100 different
I
brands.
am a fan of Scotch.
See, Scotch is great. Like
I am a fan of Scotch. I'll take a
and
good Scotch over Jack Daniels any day. I'll tell you that right now. To
man
all
with
those
taste.
to
That's
all
man
those
with
people in Tennessee who are defenders of Jack Daniels, I said what I said.
You're a man with taste.
Yes.
But I will say this. So like I've been to like five, I think, distilleries. Like I've done
Hmm.
five different tours, but they are all pretty much the same because the process never changes really.
Yeah.
But each distillery tour ends with, oh yeah, now we get to taste, right? There's like a
Hmm.
wee tasting. They give you
Yeah.
like less than a shot. So
They give you like a
obviously,
little drop, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you get
Yeah.
to taste like 12-year-old, 15-year-old, 18-year-old,
Hmm.
or whatever. And depending on how much you paid, or depending on how
Hmm.
generous that distillery is, you sometimes even get like five different whiskeys to taste. So
Yeah.
I cannot imagine to be or to go someplace to for a distillery tour and
Hmm.
then not finishing with, oh yeah, and now you get to taste what we just show you how it's been made,
Yeah.
how it's been.
Now, I will clarify the two times I've been were both when I was below the legal drinking age.
I see.
So the group I was with, aside from a few of the chaperones, were all the same way. So I don't think they would have been allowed to let us have a taste.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
so if I were to go now and be with a group of people my age, yeah, they probably be like, now we're gonna have a little tasting. Here's a little tiny cup that you get to
Hmm.
have. You're
Hmm.
not allowed to swallow,
Hmm.
but it'll be interesting. There's also a restaurant in there that's called Miss Mary Bobo's that it's another like while you're in Lynchburg, that's where you need to go have lunch.
Miss Berry Bobo. Okay,
Yeah,
what's the
it's
cuisine?
Southern cuisine. So basically, it's like
Okay.
fried chicken,
Mm-hmm.
fried apples, which are not the same thing as fried chicken. They're not breaded apples or anything like that. It's like they're basically cooked in like practically it's a very sugary syrup.
Okay.
There's like it's basically like if you think in your mind of what you think Southern U.S. cuisine is, that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much it. But of
Okay.
course, some of their ingredients do include like actually using some Jack Daniels in the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
that's another place to go. You're not going to be on a diet when you go there. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh yeah, I know. But
Mhm,
no, I would love to go to like even like Tennessee. Like I always said to my
mhm,
girlfriend and now fiance, I always said to her like when we finally go to United States, because I've never actually been to any. I've never
mhm,
been to any state yet. I would like to visit, obviously, like, the obvious places, New York, LA, all that stuff, right? But
yeah,
I also said, like, I want to go to these red states, like Texas, Kentucky,
mhm,
like, Tennessee.
yeah,
Like, because the thing is, those people know how to barbecue. And
mhm,
we watch together Hell's Kitchen. And I
yeah,
always love, like, like there's somebody from the South and like shrimp and grits. And I'm from the South and all that.
yeah,
And like, they season and all that. And I'm like,
mhm,
I've never had good shrimp and grits, right? So
mhm,
like, I would love to try it.
yeah,
I like, like barbecue, like pork, beef, chicken. Yes, gimme.
mhm,
Like, I'm not a vegetarian. So like,
yeah.
I would love
Neither
to
am I.
try it. I would
No,
love
that's I was about to say that's one of those things that Memphis is probably one place in Tennessee I would argue is known best for like having barbecue. So going to
Elvis.
Memphis for their barbecues definitely would be a place on the checklist there.
Hmm.
There's also Nashville. You have I don't know if I'd recommend Broadway per se. A lot of people go to Broadway in Nashville, although I would say the Country Music Hall of Fame there is a phenomenal museum and Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
And I don't remember exactly what days they do it, but it's the Grand Ole Opry.
Hmm.
I don't remember how many decades it's been on the air, but it's done every week. It's a radio show where various country musicians are invited to be on the show. They get a chance to perform, but it's like done in front of a live audience inside of an auditorium. That is a big, everyone should try to go to that at least once, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because it's an experience all of its own. And it's also good before you go to the Opry itself to go to where it used to be hosted, which was the Ryman Auditorium.
Hmm.
That's in Nashville. I think it used to be a church. They ended up having the Opry there for several decades.
Hmm.
And then near Opryland Hotel and Opry Mills, which used to be at the Opryland theme park, but then they tore the theme park down and built a shopping mall in its place. One of the
Of
worst
course.
mistakes I think they've ever done in Nashville, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Uh, but that's where the actual Opry is now. But they actually take a circle of the stage from the Ryman Auditorium and have it in the center of the stage at the Opry in Nashville. So it's
Hmm.
like there's always a part of the Ryman that is still there with it.
Well, at
But that
least
is
that's
another,
something.
yeah, still it's very much an enjoyable experience. Highly would recommend it.
Hmm.
There's definitely several things like in Nashville that definitely be just like you need to try to go do this thing.
Hmm.
Hattie B's hot chick or any of the hot chicken places up there for that matter.
I
Well,
would love to try them all.
mhm. Yeah. If you like your food spicy, you might like the Nashville hot chicken.
Oh yeah, I love it spicy. Like
Mhm.
yeah, like I might cry, but it's I'll finish it. Like
Yeah,
you mentioned Memphis. Am I correct in saying that's also famous for Elvis Presley?
it is. I've never been to Graceland, but I've
Mm,
heard a lot of good things about Graceland. That's another place that would be a good recommendation to go to.
yeah. Like I couldn't see. Thank you for that. I couldn't remember the name of his. I was like, no, Michael Jackson had Neverland, and he
Hmm.
had some other land, but I couldn't remember. Yeah,
Yeah,
Graceland. Yes, you're
yeah.
correct. That would be very interesting, especially now, like, having seen like, the Elvis movie, then the Priscilla movie, and it's
Hmm.
just, hmm, very fascinating person, that Elvis. Very fascinating.
Oh yeah. He had a wild story, which is funny because I remember hearing that one of his favorite foods in the world was like a peanut butter, honey, bacon, and banana sandwich or something like that.
Yep.
And I've tried one before, and it's one of those like, I can see why he liked it,
Hmm.
but there's no way I'm going to eat another one of these. It's like there is no. I would absolutely end up like how Elvis died.
Uh,
It's like,
well, yeah.
which not exactly how he really died, but it's still funnier to say that Elvis died while he was on the toilet taking a crap.
Mm. That yeah, that is. It's one of those like urban legends that
Hmm.
yeah has been debunked, but I think many
It's
people
debunked, but at the same time, it's like I don't care. It's been debunked. I still love
yeah,
the story.
and I think many people still believe it. That's the thing. Like
Oh,
it
absolutely.
could
A lot of people
nowadays.
still believe it.
Yes, nowadays something can be debunked, but many people will be like, "Oh, wait, what?
Hmm.
When? No, I still
Yeah.
believe it." It's like,
Hmm.
okay.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I think one of my favorite moments was Top Gear talking about Elvis having died on the toilet after trying to shove 16 cheeseburgers out of his poo chute.
Hmm.
One of the most hilarious moments in Top Gear's history.
I don't think I've seen that, but like I've never been into Top Gear as much. But
Yeah.
funny enough, I've seen all the Grand Tour, like when they moved to
Yeah, when they moved to
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was kind of funny. But like like Top Gear, I was never that into. Like I've seen a couple of episodes, and I'm like, yeah, that's
Mhm.
funny. But like I've never actually seen every single episode. I know many people are really into it, to the
Yeah.
fact, to the point where I've learned just recently there is an actual. I think it's just a UK thing. I don't know if you can get it
Hmm.
internationally, but here there's a Top Gear dedicated channel where
Yeah.
all they do, day and night, no matter what time it is, they just
Hmm.
run the Top Gear only with the, Jeremy Clarkson and James May and like Richard Hammond
Richard Hammond.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the moment they caught up when they catch up with when they get fired or Jeremy
When
Clarkson got
Clarkson
fired.
got fired and
Yes,
James May and
yes,
Richard Hammond decided to quit because
yes. When they
they still
catch
were their good
up,
friend. Yeah.
yes, when they catch up, they restart and start from the first season.
Hmm.
I'm like, that's fascinating.
That is clever.
I
I
don't
couldn't watch.
understand who watches
I
it.
couldn't take the time to watch that because of the fact that there's way too many episodes of Top Gear. But
Yes.
it's definitely one of those like if I'm just like scrolling through channels and I'm like, oh, Top Gear's on, I'll turn it on and have it going for a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
It's
look,
not my go-to, but it definitely has some great moments.
I feel like Top Gear is one, or even Grand Tour for that matter, is the perfect example of like separating art from the artist because like Jeremy Clarkson, unfortunately, he seems to be a bit of a prick. Like,
Yeah.
not just punching the producer, but just the way he goes about his business, like
Hmm.
in politics. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, like he's the prime example of like peak old person
Hmm.
who is relevant enough where it's like, when he speaks, like many people listen, but then
Yep.
he opens his mouth and is like, okay, but
All
that's not
right.
what
I
you
have
were
to
saying
listen to
last
this for
time.
a few minutes. Yeah. No,
Yeah, it's
the way I like to say it is that I don't know how much of an opinion I have as how good a person like James May or Richard Hammond are.
hmm
I do think uh, Clarkson's basically he's an asshole,
hmm
but I think when it comes to their on-screen chemistry with each other, can't beat it. It's good enough where I'm like, I don't care how much of a jerk this guy is. I have to
hmm
kind of watch this right now.
And I think that's why it works because I think deep down they like like the play fight and the play
Hmm.
hate. Sometimes it might not be play. Sometimes it might be
Yeah.
like, ah, for fuck's sake, why would you do this, right?
There have been
But
a few times where I'm like, oh shit, he's actually May's about to actually cut off Clarkson's head right now.
and I think they are kind of open about like how they are friends, but I
Hmm.
don't think they would describe each other like best friends. Like they
No.
are like like so there is it's like when I feel like that's like what many men can have. It's like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I like you, but I'll every once in a while I'll call you a cunt. It's just
Yeah.
like one of those things. So it's like, oh
Every
yeah, but like
it's one of those you got to have a good relationship with guys to a certain degree. You have to be able to take the piss out of each other.
correct, correct.
Which I
Well,
still
no,
think like the Grand Tour, like at one point, James May like had a broken arm, and he's like, "What do you have an automatic?" It's like, "Because my arm's broken," and Hammond just goes, "Which arm?"
oh yeah.
Stuff like that is like exactly the kind of like, okay, this is where like, yeah, I don't know how much I think how good of people I think you all are, but the fact you guys are able to do this on TV is just so good. Like,
Yeah.
it's watchable. It's extremely watchable.
No, yeah, it is. It is.
Hmm.
No, thank you for the like Tennessee info. Like
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And again, like I would love to try and would love to
Hmm.
go and see some stuff and
Yeah.
try some delicious southern food because I've had some here. We have like a restaurant too that's trying to
Hmm.
do like southern style cuisine, and I
Hmm.
really like what they're like for example gumbo, right?
Yeah.
I love gumbo like here. But I still have a feeling the proper quote unquote gumbo would blow me away.
Yeah.
And I love that one. Right.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
Yeah.
would
Proper
love to.
gumbo down in the bayou.
That's exactly like
Yeah.
buy you like some
Hmm.
vignettes, like some or like talk about like the movie Chef, right?
Yep.
Like the like the Cuban sandwiches, the vignettes,
Hmm.
all the stuff there, just like yep,
Yeah.
that's my stuff.
I will also say, be glad that you didn't get me on the show when I was still living in Kansas, because it would have been just like, the Cosmosphere is really cool.
Hmm.
I mean, you can walk the same streets Wyatt Earp did in Dodge City. I don't have much else because
Is Kansas
that's
that
Kansas
boring?
for you. Kansas is just heavily, it's one of our most heavily agriculturalized states in the United States.
I see.
Like, I think I looked at it, the amount of farmland that is devoted to agriculture in Kansas
Hmm.
in terms of square miles is more than the state of Washington has total.
Mm.
And Washington's the 18th largest state in the United States.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a lot of ground that's just being farmed and not a lot of ground that's being devoted. Like, there's still a lot of very interesting, like, little small, like, roadside stops you can get to.
Mm.
It's just also one of those things where it's a very niche kind of things compared to, like, oh, the Country Music Hall of Fame. A lot of people have heard of country music.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, like, a lot of people have heard about Elvis.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a good aquarium? It's things like that.
That's fair. That's fair. Hopefully, people who are from Kansas will not get offended. But hey, what can they do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was in Kansas long enough. I think they understand that it's said with love, not with hate.
Yeah, I know. I know. Now, I think with that, we can move to the this or that game where I'll give you two options and you tell me
Hmm.
which one you prefer and why. So,
Okay.
Joseph, TV shows or movies?
Whew.
Mm.
That's actually a tough one because the fact that I get, depending on the day, I could go one way or the other on that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think I want to lean a little more to TV just because the fact that,
Mm.
especially with some TV shows, what you can do is you can really set up things to where you can generate like the water cooler kind of discussion at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing where you're sitting there going, "Oh, I don't know what's about to happen. Why does it have to end now? What do you mean I have to wait another week for this?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of course, like I said,
Okay.
you could ask me tomorrow, and I could just be like, "Oh, no movies," because the fact that with movies,
Mm-hmm.
unless they were to really, unless they're really misshot hard, so to speak, like Morbius, we're just like, "Oh, they are setting up for a sequel that they clearly don't understand. They're not getting here."
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're one of the few people who actually chosen like TV shows. So that's interesting. Okay.
I mean,
I
like I
like
said,
it.
it's just that's definitely one of those. It's going to depend on the day.
No, yeah, I
It
get
has
it.
to be
I
that
get it.
today. I could say TV, tomorrow movies. For who
Mm-hmm.
knows, third day I might go secret option C, comic books.
Ooh, careful there. All
Yeah,
right. Nice. Tea or coffee?
coffee.
Okay, how do you
I mean,
take your
don't get
coffee?
me wrong. I do like tea.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Granted, the way I have tea usually compared to the way most people would like, especially in the UK, would have tea, is
Mm-hmm.
two widely different things.
Yes, yes.
Because here, like in the UK, it's put a little cream, some sugar into it, which I do like.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, tea where I am considered, it's basically iced tea. There's no cream, and you're gonna have type 2 diabetes by the time you're done.
Yeah, it's sweet tea, isn't it? It's like very
It's sweet
a lot
tea.
of sugar.
The joke is you can get a 10-gallon pot, you've dumped a bunch of water in, a bunch of tea bags, you let it boil, and then you take the sugar, you go one scoop, two scoop, just dump the bag in, just be done with it. But generally speaking, especially like to start my day, it's going to be coffee. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I like it. I'll take it fancier. Like there are times that I actually will get like coffee creamer that has like French vanilla flavor. I'll sometimes put a little bit of like cocoa powder or something in it to give it
Mm-hmm.
like a chocolatey taste. But a lot of times, just give me some cream, give me some sugar, I'll be good.
Okay, that's sensible.
I don't need it too terribly fancy.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Money or free time?
Hmm. I kind of want to say free time on this one
Okay.
because on the one hand, it's definitely one of those like I would like to have the money to be able to do stuff,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I don't want to feel like I don't want to be that person where 60, well, I'm 65, 70 years old, sitting in the chair going, man, I wish I had done this, or man, I wish I had gone to that. It's just one of those like I value my free time enough to where it's just like, you know what? Let's go on that trip. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
let's go have
Mm-hmm.
some fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that sounds good. That sounds sensible.
Mhm.
Honesty or other people's feelings?
For that, I'm thinking honesty
Mm.
because the fact that the best way I think to describe with that one is just one of those honesty will tell you whether or not the people that whose feelings you may or may not be hurting are worth you taking your time and hanging out with, spending the time with.
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that if you're honest with somebody and they take it as a slight against them, you already know there's no reason to be messing with them at all. Like
Hmm.
it's one of those things where like you basically say to somebody like, I don't know if like yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time you're being an idiot about it. And they're just like, how could you say such a thing? It's like, well, I guess clearly you're not the person I need to be hanging out with.
Yeah. Okay. Mhm.
It's like I'm related to some people who it's basically they need to have a little bit more honesty in their life because the fact that the only time it seems like they show up are just like, oh hey, my hand is out, I need something.
Mhm. Mhm.
So having honesty where it's just like literally just one of those, this is the truth, just lay it out there, either grow and learn from it, or there's no point in us continuing this conversation.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're describing. Yeah. I've
Hmm.
been there a few times. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's also one of those things too where I'd rather be honest about something. Like work, for example, is another one.
Hmm.
If I mess up, I'm going to tell you that I messed up because the fact that it's going to be better for me just to come forward and be just like, look, I made a mistake. It's on me. I'm going to do what I can to fix it.
Hmm.
Would I possibly get fired if it's a big enough mistake? Sure, but I'm going to feel better if I come out there and say, hey, that's my mistake. I screwed up, as opposed to be sitting there going, I don't know what happened, and like a couple of days later they come to me and just like, we know you fucked that up.
Yeah.
We know what you did.
Yeah.
They're going to be more pissed off then than they would be if you just came up straight forward.
Hmm. Hmm. No, I agree with that, and I am pretty much the same. If I
Hmm.
don't know anything or if I mess up something, I'm the one who raises their hand. They're like, "Hey guys, I don't
Hmm.
understand," or "Hey guys, I fucked up. How
Yep.
do I fix this?"
Hmm.
Yeah, it's.
Yep.
I think that's just easier. Like sometimes it is scary to admit, "Oh shit, in this room of people, I'm the only one who doesn't, I don't know this." But you know
Hmm.
what? Okay, what what does this mean? And it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah. So you being from Tennessee, I wonder what's the answer to this one? Summer or winter?
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
Can I vote neither? Uh, I kind of want to lean. Oh God, I actually don't know if I have an answer for this one.
Hmm.
I somewhat want to lean winter because the
Okay.
fact that we don't usually have much in the way of snow in this part of the country.
Mm-hmm.
But when it does snow, it can get bad quickly, even if there's not much snow.
Mm-hmm.
Which I obviously compare that. It's like, oh yeah, when snow does happen, it can be pretty bad pretty quickly, just like 2 or 3 inches of snow. But then I'm like, summer though, it's hot and it's humid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one thing I miss about Kansas is the fact that it could be 110 degrees outside. And you're like, no, I feel fine. Because the fact that
Okay.
your sweat's actually evaporating because it's fairly dry out there, as opposed to here,
Mm-hmm.
your sweat's just accumulating on your skin. It's not going anywhere. Your body's not able to cool down as efficiently. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of lean the winter.
Okay.
And winter has Christmas as well. So
Yeah. That's always a bonus. That's always a
yeah,
nice bonus. So yeah,
yeah.
at least you
Presents,
get
candy
some.
canes,
Yeah. At least you
very
get
good
some gifts.
desserts. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Good food, good dessert.
Yeah.
Usually
No.
good company.
Usually,
So
like that.
usually.
Probably the most important question of all: ninjas or pirates?
Mm. Just in case there's any ninjas hanging out inside of my house right now, I can't see. I'm gonna go with ninjas.
Okay,
Pirates, I'll
sensible
see.
and safe.
Pirates, I can see coming. Ninjas, I might not.
Oh, I like how you taking it from the way from the perspective of okay, if I if any of these groups were to attack me, which one I would
Uh-huh.
rather fight?
Yeah,
I think that's the first like interpretation of that prompt I've had like
yeah.
that.
Not maybe
Okay.
not so much fight, but it's like, okay, I see some pirates coming. I can get away, as opposed to I'm just hanging out, bad mouthing some ninjas, and all of a sudden just knife to throat. Oh God,
Mhm.
didn't
And
see them coming.
also you're pretty landlocked, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's probably zero chance of like pirates the way we think of pirates.
Hmm. Unless they're very determined pirates.
There would be some fucking determination right there.
That means
Yes,
some
I
serious
agree.
determination. Just that or Captain Jack Sparrow finally got those crabs to cooperate.
Yeah. Oh, that could be a thing. See,
That would be intimidating for the Black Pearl to just come bursting over the top of a mountain and be like, "Oh God, he's coming for me."
don't give Disney any ideas, okay? Like,
Yeah,
they will
that's
do
fair.
it. They will do
That's
it.
fair. This is fair. God only knows Johnny Depp wants to be Jack Sparrow one more time at least.
Oh, there have been some news that he apparently is keen, so I think it will
Hmm.
happen. I think it will
I mean,
happen.
it's like you say, don't give Disney any ideas. I know it's gonna be one of those like, oh, money?
I was gonna say like search for more money. Yes.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And the last question, free will or destiny?
Oh.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say free will
Okay.
because the fact that and I'm thinking specifically about the newer not Spider-Man, the new Superman movie.
Hmm.
It's one of those things where I don't know if you've seen it yet. Do you
Yes, I
mind
have.
spoil it? Oh, you have? Okay, so you already know like one of the bigger twists when it comes to how they changed the world that is Superman for the new movie.
Like, I don't know exactly what twist you're referring to.
Is Kal-El's parents?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that twist. It's like
Mm.
I like the idea of like free will, just one of those like you are like just because of the fact that that's what you they intended of you
Hmm.
doesn't mean that's the path you have to take.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of what I say with I say free will because the fact that the idea of destiny is nice to certain degrees, but at the same time, it's easy for people to easily to misconstrue that into the idea of, oh, you have to have that one great person
Hmm.
who's going to
Hmm.
lead us and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I kind of think free will.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay, and before we move to the Flix part of this podcast, do you have
Mhm.
any hot takes you would like to share with us?
I'm not usually a big hot takes person. I jokingly said before we started, I wanted to say it should be called soccer, not football. But for one, I don't actually believe that. For another, I don't want to be have all your viewers being like, "Oh God, they're another dumbass American." I will keep it kind of in the realm of sports,
Okay.
and that is, and you probably you'll have no idea kind of what I'm talking about here because you don't follow as much college sports that I do. But I am actively kind of mad at how professionalization they're trying. It feels like they're trying to make college sports
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of those like I'm thinking football as a primary example because that's the biggest money maker of college athletics there is,
Mm-hmm.
and we are coming up to the college football season. Funny enough, Kansas State and Iowa State play in Ireland this weekend as we record.
Okay.
And they have a rivalry called Farmageddon because they're both two very big agriculture based schools.
Mm-hmm.
I will be watching that on TV
Mm-hmm.
because invariably, whichever one of those teams loses is going to have a hilariously bad season.
Mm-hmm.
But you have stuff like name, image, and likeness that they started a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I like the basic idea of that. I think these players, they're representing the universities they're playing for. They deserve to have some kind of compensation for that other than just education
Mm-hmm.
because they're quite literally putting their bodies on the line. But you're getting to the point now is where it's like you have multi-million dollar entities essentially that are basically being the ones who are making the promises for these students, being like, hey, if you come here, we
Mm-hmm.
can give you an NIL deal of like $4 million. And they have another school, we can give you one of $6 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's healthy or sustainable for college athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And college athletics is one of those things too where there's a level of passion and pride that the professional level is not going to have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you ever watched anything with the NFL, I don't know if you have or not.
I mean, like I've watched some movies where the
Yeah,
NFL was, to
yeah.
taking
Draft. If
place.
it was draft day, oh god, that's a movie. Out of all the movies ever made, that's most certainly one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of annoys me how like professionalizing they're making it with, especially the stuff with NIL.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I mentioned previously, I was on the show with Mike talking about Tennessee sports, Tennessee Vols particularly, and we had a quarterback by the name of Nico Iamaleava. He played for us last year, went
Mm-hmm.
through all of spring practice, and right before we had our spring game, which is usually one half of the team plays the other half of the team, he apparently decided to come up to the coaching staff, basically said, "I want to up my NIL deal."
Mm-hmm.
And for lack of a better way to describe it, the coaching staff in the university basically told him to pound sand.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up entering the transfer portal, transferred to UCLA. And ironically, the guy who just transferred to UCLA at the beginning of the transfer portal period for this past offseason, Joey Aguilar, transferred to Tennessee, and he's going to be our starting quarterback. So it's a weird situation, but Nico's obviously claiming it's not about the money. No one's really believing him, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something where it's like I think we have overcorrected for an issue. We need to bring it back. I don't know if that's particularly the biggest hot take that's out there, but there's just so much stuff that they're trying to do with college athletics. I'm just like, can we not go back like 10 years? Because like the conferences are changing. There are teams that the conferences used to be very geographically located. Like you have the SEC, which is very much the very southeastern area of the United States, hence why it's the Southeastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Big Ten, which is kind of more Midwest, northeastern part of the United States. You have the Pac-12, which is the West Coast, but then that exploded, and now you have Pac-12 teams playing teams that are on the East Coast,
Hmm.
which for football is not the biggest deal, but you have like basketball, you play 2 times a week. You have baseball where you have a midweek game, and then you have a weekend series,
Hmm.
and all these other like sports that these teams are having to fly all the way across the country for, just because of controversy alignment for football. And there's just so much going on. I'm sitting here thinking, I think, and I doubt I'm the only one outside the well, inside the college world thinking this, but I just feel like college sports are actively killing themselves, and it's pissing me off.
So the only thing I knew about college sports in
Hmm.
general is also from like a report like John Oliver did on it a couple of years ago, and
Hmm.
you brought up something. I'm like, oh wait, has anything changed? So are they now getting actually paid? Because a big
They
part of
have,
that
yeah, they have
report,
name, image, and likeness now. It's just one of those like
ah,
my thought on it was just one of those where you need to give the universities like the ability to have a stipend where it's just like,
mm-hmm,
okay,
mm-hmm,
this level of sport, you can pay players up to this much for their time for the university,
mm-hmm,
and then like Division 2 is like, okay, you can pay them this much. Division 3, which interestingly, the way that divisions work depends on how many scholarships they're allowed to offer. Like Division 1, they can have 120 scholarship players, I want to say. I could be completely wrong.
mm-hmm.
It could be like they're allowed to have like a certain number of full scholarships, but a total number of players that have a scholarship. Division 2, it's reduced by quite a ways. Division 3, no scholarships. So maybe make it to where Division 3 is like, okay, there is no stipend for that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there needs to be like something where it's like a simple baseline where, yeah, they're being compensated, but not where we have it now, where you have those players that basically are getting paid stupid amounts of money, and you don't even know if they're going to be any good because they're just being recruited to you.
Mm-hmm. I
So
see. The thing is, though, right? The thing is, what I don't understand any of it, but what I understand is capitalism.
yeah,
So
capitalism.
what
Ding.
I'm so what I will say is this. I'll make this argument. Um, uh, does it seem like it's being over commercialized? 100%. But the problem is, if there's gonna be big money, and I know, even though I don't follow it, I
Hmm.
know how popular it is in America,
Yeah.
right? It's only fair to me that like if the guys and girls who will play those sports should be fairly compensated because like
Yeah.
there's even in that report from John Oliver was like, oh yeah, they cannot get shit because they are students, but we'll hire coaches they'll be like on 20 million a year salary,
Hmm.
right? We'll do this and this, but they cannot even accept this gift because that would be a bribe. They
Yeah.
don't have, so I'm like, yeah, that is fucking wrong because like any
No,
sport.
like I definitely agree. It's just one of those, you still run into issues where like you have those schools that are the haves and the have-nots.
Hmm.
Like I also use Tennessee, University of Alabama is another good one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, Using some of the other conferences, Ohio State, Michigan, they are going to have like a lot more big time boosters willing to donate millions upon millions of dollars to NIL funds.
Hmm.
And then you have a small school like Kent State or New Mexico where they don't have that same level of like boosters and funding.
Well, to
So
me,
it's
that
just one
sounds
of
like they
those.
should have a ceiling like NHL, like, other sports have, where, like, no, 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 there is a ceiling. Any
Mhm.
university or college or whatever, they can only spend, I don't know, 40 million a season or 20 million or
Yeah,
whatever
that's
fuck,
it.
right?
That's what I'm saying. Like they have like a set limit that
Yeah.
like this is the amount you're allowed to actually pay your
Yes.
players.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
this is the number, the funding you have to pay. Granted, then that becomes the argument is like, well, aren't you arguing for more professionalization of amateur sports?
Hmm.
Maybe, but at least then it's one of those things where
Like,
you're
it's
not
gonna
having to sit there and
happen.
think, oh, you're not having to sit there and think like, oh, my quarterback at Kent State turns out to be really, really good. I wonder what
Mhm.
school he's going to transfer to that actually is going to give him more NIL money.
Yeah. Like, look,
So,
like, I don't think we are arguing for that, but in a way we
mhm,
are, because, like, the thing is, we need to live in a reality. Like, again, we do live in a capitalist society, and
mhm,
nowadays, if you're not making money, why are you wasting your time?
mhm,
If this is not making money and as much money as it can, why does it
mhm,
even exist? Oh, just for fun? Oh, fuck you. No, we need money.
mhm. Yeah.
So like, so unfortunately, would it be fun if kids played sports just for fun, just for the heck of it? And
Yeah.
be kind of rewarded and then maybe get into the big leagues after they
Hmm.
graduate and focus on school first.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the way last 10 years or so it's gone. Like even to my little knowledge,
Hmm.
yeah, it became kind of its own beast where many people are into it and
Yep.
many millions are pouring that way. So like
Hmm.
look, reward the kids because they should be rewarded if they are actually competing on like kind of professional level and
Hmm.
expecting to perform like as professional athletes. They should not be worried about, hey, oh yeah, I cannot afford to fucking, pay for food, but
Yeah.
I'm supposed to deliver, like lead my team to victory like
Hmm.
tomorrow. So
Yeah.
like
No, I
that
mean,
shouldn't
like
happen.
there are stories like there's one I can think of that's a a player for Tennessee where he talked about technically at the time it was a violation because the fact that the coach was supposed to do this, but he was talking to his coach, being like, "Hey, sorry I didn't perform as well today in practice. I just don't have any money to buy anything to eat." And then the coach was basically just like,
Hmm.
"All right, I hate to hear that," and then showed up later basically with groceries for him, being like, "Here, take this. That way you have something to eat." Like just basically you have people doing something out of the kindness of their heart, but then it's just like, no, you can't do that, and you can get in
Yep.
serious trouble for doing that.
Yep. No, but yeah, so like to me, like if they're gonna go down that route, they definitely need more rules. One of them
Hmm.
being, oh yeah, we have this ceiling.
Yeah,
Let's, I don't know, whatever monetary value they'll place on it. Huh?
yeah,
And then just, it's kind of a fairer game. Like,
yeah,
obviously, look, people will be people, so
hmm,
there'll be people who will try to bypass it any way,
yeah,
they can.
yeah.
But then when we deal with
The only
that.
bad thing is that does make me think that the regulation authority for uh college athletics, I feel like, is slowly dying. It's just one of those like I'm mad that it's kind of dying because it's like
Hmm.
they've kind of let they've let Pandora's box open and now they don't know what to do with it.
Well, and once you open something, it's
Hmm.
there's no way to close it.
Yep.
Like, like you can point to millions of examples today. Like, we
Hmm.
all know we shouldn't support Amazon, for example, because
Yeah.
we know what they do is wrong. We know how they treat their workers is
There's no
wrong.
reason for us to fund Jeff Bezos's wedding in Venice where he shuts down the entire city.
Correct. However, many people will still do their shopping there. Like,
Hmm.
and it's hard to avoid, especially when they have monopolies on certain things. And when they
Yeah.
literally have money to burn, where if you piss them off, they
Hmm.
can literally burn you to the ground.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those, it's like, yeah, today it's very hard to be a good person. Like, it's
Yeah.
much, like, have you seen the show The Good Place?
I've not seen The Good Place in its entirety. Watched some clips and I watched a few episodes, but I'm not like watched the whole thing in its entirety.
So I'm not gonna spoil anything, but
Hmm.
basically the idea, or like the way how the
Hmm.
show finish, not even finishes, but basically what they like discover in the last season without anything. Yeah, without I don't think that this gives anything away. They discover how suddenly, you know, being a good person today is
Hmm.
so much harder without you even realizing that what you're
Hmm.
doing is wrong. And they
Yeah.
give a perfect example. I'm not gonna spoil for you, but they give a perfect example. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, kind of tracks.
Yeah.
It is bit shit, and it's just like, but yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, just oh, just don't use this service, just don't do this. Okay, how long? Oh, I'll try to do this then. And how long before the alternative becomes what they were
Hmm.
meant to kill? And as
It's like the idea of like I'm not going to buy from Amazon because if they're a bad practice, I'm going to buy from Walmart.
mhm,
Shit.
yeah. Or again, there's like an alternate. There's always like alternative service, right? Like like
Hmm.
Uber. Oh, we're gonna replace taxis. Great. Now, how many
Yeah.
horror stories are there about like a Uber also not paying their because they are technically not their
Hmm.
employees. Some
Yep.
Uber drivers assaulting female passengers.
Hmm.
That's also not great. Like and again, or like Airbnb. Oh, we're gonna destroy
Yep.
hotel industry. And for a moment, they had something cooking there. And
Yeah.
now many Airbnbs are fucking more expensive than hotels.
There's that, and the fact that there's also one of those like, well, why don't we have enough in the way of housing for people? It's like, well, because the fact that these Airbnb hosts are buying all the damn houses.
You mean to tell me, if you have, unfiltered, like unchecked capitalism, the rich will
Hmm.
just buy all the property and then lend it
Yeah.
out for, for passive income?
Hmm.
No, no,
No, not at all.
no, no, they
Like
will
I
trickle
look, what
down,
are
Joseph. Any moment now, the trickle down economy will start to work. Just you
uh,
wait.
it really is a damn trickle.
Just you wait. It will any moment now, okay?
Oh, that may have been a drop. I think the next drop will come in 10 years.
We've been waiting for, or you guys have been waiting for about 40 years, but it's
Yeah,
coming. It's
it's
just
it'll
around the
be
corner.
it'll be just around the, yeah, eventually. God.
But yeah, no, it's fun. It is fun times we live in right now. Like,
Hmm.
look, I'm not one of those people who like, oh, I would love to live in. No, 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 fuck that. I don't want to live in the past. I'm not
Yeah.
romanticizing or fetishizing the past
Hmm.
at all. I am, and I love technology. I just wish, when it's like, oh yeah, I like to use my phone
Hmm.
and then think, I really hope some 5-year-old child in China didn't die whilst making this shit for me.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that's
it's one of those like it's like talking about stuff with history before. It's like
hmm
I like reading and learning about history, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this is the way history is.
hmm
So what can we do to make sure we don't do that again?
Well, let's shame everybody who actually tries to learn something, and just because
Mhm.
it hurts our feelings about
Yeah.
like I don't know, slavery. Oh yeah, let's try to
God, that
sanitize
that bit
it.
of news
Yeah,
coming
let's try
in
to
earlier.
sanitize
We
it.
might shift over to that a little bit. That bit of news where the idea of somebody not wanting the way we decided that we've taught about slavery in the past, how we taught
hmm
it so negatively. Like, oh God, that when I saw that, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, you don't like how we were taught slavery was bad? Maybe if slavery wasn't bad, we wouldn't teach it that way.
I know, right?
Leopold?
It's just like, like every country, like in the world. Oh yeah, we used to have like every civilization had slaves, right?
Hmm.
Every country pretty
Yeah.
much had a slaves, but most of them enslaved their own people.
Yeah.
That was the reality of it, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like, but many countries like, around the world, pretty much all of them are like, oh yeah, that this shit was bad. We moved past it. America,
Hmm.
now this shit w was bad? Question mark?
Yep.
It's like,
No, like living in the South, it's always interesting when I have discussions with people that are talking about it's like, oh no, the Civil War is totally about states' rights. And when I ask them which state right it is, they go real quiet all of a sudden.
states' rights to what? Yeah,
State
states'
rights to
rights
what?
to what?
They start sweating a little bit. You're just like, yeah. The
I
fact you're
just
not answering that question is the point.
Yep. It's again fascinating time we live in. It's very
Yeah,
fascinating.
unfortunately.
Is
I
there
think back every once in a while to
Mhm.
a line from Baldur's Gate 3. You click, you make a click, your character starts walking, and those go, shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, no kidding. You're right.
Yeah, it's no like honestly like that's something I could spend like another hour on. It's just it has been
Yeah.
insane. It has been but is there anything else you would like to share with us? Or do you want to move to the Flix part of the podcast?
I think we're ready to move to the Flix part of the podcast, unless you really want me to go into a diatribe about why, if you play Baldur's Gate 3, you have to play as the Dark Urge. But
The
I
thing
don't think we're
is,
ready to go quite that nerdy right now.
no, to be fair, like I don't even mind that. The problem
Yeah.
is I'm no longer a gamer. I know of the
Um,
game. Like I know
hmm.
I obviously have heard like
Yeah.
I live on the internet.
Yeah.
So like I've obviously heard of Baldur's Gate 3.
Hmm.
However, I've not played a single minute of it. So you
Hmm.
can tell me next 10, 15 minutes whatever you want, but I will just be like, "Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay."
Totally.
I
Yeah.
have nothing to add because I don't know anything about that game
Yeah.
except for many people are enjoying it.
Yeah. All I'll say with that is like you enjoy the Dungeons and Dragons video, not video games, but like the actual tabletop RPG game, you will probably enjoy Baldur's Gate 3.
I've never played it. Like I'm one of those few people.
That's
Like
fair.
I'm one of those nerds. Like I think I'm a nerd. Like, but I'm a nerd into like movies, TV shows.
Hmm.
I like I don't mind playing like board games, but I've
Yeah.
never actually played any D&D campaign.
Hmm.
So I'm one of those rare ones where, like, for example, I have also never actually read any comic books. Like
Yeah.
ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've read a few, but I've never like I've jokingly said that about comic books. I've never gotten heavily into comic books,
hmm
but I have read a few.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the medium enough to where it's like if you give me one, I'll read it, but I'm probably not going to just be just like, oh, I'm going to go seek out the latest release of Spider-Man.
Hmm. For me, what prevented me from going any deeper with comic books specifically is so I was reading about it. Like I was like, oh, maybe I should get into it because that was back in like
Hmm
2015. So I was enjoying all the MCU stuff and all that. And I was like, oh, maybe I should try it. And then I discovered, oh, there's 10,000 origin stories for just Spider-Man alone. Where would
hmm
I fucking start?
Yeah, where do you start?
And it's like, no, fuck that. Oh, and
hmm
every writer can have its own interpretation. Like it,
hmm
don't get me wrong, cool. Like, all the power to you guys. Like,
Yep.
to all the writers. Like, if you want to make Spider-Man, like, obviously, like Miles Morales, you can make him black. We can make him whatever. Like, great. I know. I love me some like Across the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite movies of last year.
It is a very
Or
good
two
movie.
years. Yeah. But as far as like, oh, where do I start? I'm like, no, this is too much.
Hmm
Like, if movies and TV shows are too much, like, there's so much to watch. I
Yeah.
cannot add comic books where it's like, oh yeah, there's this issue of Superman where he dies. Oh, okay.
hmm
There's this issue where he becomes Nazi. Oh, okay. There's this
Yeah.
issue where he fights Nazis. Oh, okay. I was like,
All right.
oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, where do I start from? Like, like that's such a it's like
hmm
when I was reading into it, it's like such a steep mountain to climb. I'm like, yeah, I don't feel like climbing that mountain. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Nah.
Oh, yeah, I very much understand that. But yeah, no, I'm getting ready for the next part of this. I'm opening up my letterbox to just kind of
All right.
review my diary just to remind myself of some of the movies I've watched, both recently and also that I know I've rated like 5 stars.
All right. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. So what is the last new movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything 2020s.
Well, this one's particularly new, like within the past month or two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Nice.
Yeah, that is which is funny because the fact that I got two people I know who they were based they kept going like they refer to me as JC. You're like JC, you need to watch
Mm-hmm.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You need if you don't do it, we're going to force you to. I was like, all right, fine, I'll do this. And most of that movie, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is easily a 4.5 star movie. Which I was telling one of them this, and she just went out of because she didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
And like out of 4.5 stars, I mean, this is a really good movie. I just need something to kind of seal the deal for it to be 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then that last song, what it sounds like, was just one of those moments where you finally got that last punch in the chest. And you're just like, yes, this
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what I needed for this to hit 5.
No, like so I knew about this movie. Like I think like I heard about it when it came out from
hmm
few people, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound like I'm not into K-pop. So like
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, not for me. And then more and more people, especially like Sifo people, and even like besides Sifo, like start to talk about it, and more and
yeah.
more and more, and how it's actually good. And I'm like, okay. And I've convinced my fiance to watch it with me. And not only she loved it, she downloaded quite a few of those songs into
hmm
her Spotify playlist. So like the song Golden, I hear quite often.
Yep.
Like like she loves those songs and she listens
Oh,
to
the songs
them.
are amazing.
Yes, no, they are absolutely great. And now, like I just today or yesterday, I've just seen an article from some movie website where effectively, by the time this episode comes out, it would have happened.
hmm
This will become Netflix's most successful movie ever. Like it's now
Yeah.
like basically the time of recording is 21st of August. So in about a week's time,
hmm
basically, it's gonna become like Netflix's most successful, most streamed movie of all time.
hmm Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Yeah, and it also has all the different songs in a way to where it's like no matter what song you really kind of pick as your favorite song from that movie, it's one of those like good, that's valid,
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. It's not like some of those musicals where they have that one song and people's like, oh, that's my favorite song from the musical. They sit there and just go, really,
Hmm.
that one, okay.
And I just
It just has like every song could easily be someone's favorite. You're just like
yes,
correct, it's
yes.
perfect.
Yes. And I just love how, again, not even again, I just love how they allow all the girls in that group be
hmm
not only kick-ass, but also silly and just girls.
Yeah,
Like, because they are just like, wait, are they supposed to be teenagers or like young adults? Remind me.
I don't know for certain, but I kind of they definitely fall into the older. teenager, young
Yeah,
adult range.
yeah. Because like usually it's like, oh, I'm a kick-ass, I'm do this, I do, which fine. But this felt more real. It's like, oh yeah, but when I'm not kick-ass, I'm just craving all the foods and like
Hmm.
and I would like to go to a spa or whatever fuck. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh yeah, this tracks. This is like
Hmm.
so. It feels it feels relevant. It feels true. And I think that's
Hmm.
why it struck the chord with many people. And again, even me who I couldn't care less about K-pop because I don't really
Yeah.
listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm an old person when it comes to this. So like, it's fine. Like I don't hate it, but it's not my
Yeah.
favorite genre. But even still, I actually love this movie as well and enjoyed it. So like I'm right there with you.
Hmm. Oh yeah. And there's a juxtaposition also, like when you listen to Golden versus what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like Golden's like, this is all the stuff we had to overcome to
Hmm.
be here. This is what we were able to defeat to get here. But then what it sounds like is one of those, it's almost a response to that where it's basically, we may have overcome so much, but we still have so much left to go.
Hmm.
We're not done yet.
And they already announced two sequels, so
Hmm.
they are definitely not done yet. So
Oh, for
Netflix, I
sure.
think they are
Which
already
which is
working
funny
on.
because when I was talking to one of the people about it, she basically told me that I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. She basically was like, they set it up to where there's obviously going to be sequels because they're trying to set up like the golden like ripple effect around the world. I don't remember exactly what it's called
Hmm.
to truly trap the demons away, and they didn't do that. They just repaired the one that was beginning to fall apart.
Yeah.
So it's obviously set up uh, easily.
Hmm.
It's also funny because the fact she also wants to have one of those like life-sized tiger plushes, like the tiger from that movie,
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
life-size plush of that. And I've jokingly been like, now I'm just imagining someone being just like, just me, my girlfriend, and her life-size K-pop demon hunters, like tiger plushie. And it's
I'm
just a guy like laying
sure.
there, eyes open, with the girlfriend like rolled over on her side, like hugging this
Mhm.
giant plush. Like that's gonna happen at some point.
I was gonna say, like in today's day and age, I'm sure those plushies already exist. They might
Hmm.
not be official, quote unquote, but
Yeah.
I'm sure if you were to go to like Amazon or eBay or one of those places, it's
Hmm.
like you'll find something. You know,
Yep.
it no, like nowadays people work fast. Like,
Oh yeah.
you need to strike the iron while it's hot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh for sure. Oh yeah.
No, that's it. That's a
Yeah, no,
good choice.
there's definitely a couple other movies I thought about like
Hmm.
that might I might say supersede it, but the most recent one is that one. Because I mean, there's obviously like Tick Tick
Hmm.
Boom and Everything Everywhere All at Once that I think are two of the best movies of the decade so far.
Okay.
Especially Everything Everywhere All at Once, because
Yeah.
that's another one of those movies where it does everything it can do to set up everything. You're just like, this needs to end a certain way, or else it's not going to quite be 5 stars. And then when it
Hmm.
gets to that ending, I'm just like, here, take that last star. Stop making me cry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like that's one of those movies I've seen twice in a cinemas. Like it
Hmm.
was just so good. I loved it. No, yeah, and like Tick Tick Boom, I really liked. It
Yeah.
didn't hit me as much as it hit my others. I'll
Yeah.
say that. So I like still
Hmm.
liked it. I didn't love it,
Hmm.
but I do. I think I can see myself rewatching it in a couple of years' time and giving it
Hmm.
quote unquote another chance to like
Yeah.
maybe it was just something off with me that day because
Hmm.
happens. But yeah. So what is the last quote unquote teen movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything between 2003 and 2019.
For that, I kind of want to cheat a little bit
All right, tell me.
and just say the entirety of the How to Train Your Dragon animated trilogy,
Nice. Okay.
because the fact that there are few trilogies in my mind where you find a way to keep the story that consistently good
Mm-hmm.
across all three movies. Because it really feels like for a lot of trilogies, it's like the first one does a really good job setting it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the second one, it's just like, oh, this is amazing. I can't wait to see what the third one is. The third one comes out, and you're just like, that's it?
Hmm. Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek, big
Yeah.
time. But
Even
no,
though
How to
it's no
Train Your
longer just a trilogy, but yeah.
yeah, but that's a good example of that though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the whole trilogy of How to Train Your Dragon, I think I prefer the second and third one a little bit more than the first one.
Hmm.
Not much per se, but a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. But like that whole series just really like feels like you knew what you were doing the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
Everything works. It's one of my favorite sayings that when it comes to engineering things, you're done not when there's nothing left to add, but when there's nothing left to take away.
Yeah.
And I think that is a very good way to describe that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
that like the whole trilogy very much fits that for me. And see
Hmm.
if I can scroll and see if there's any other movies from that decade or that those
It,
2 decades that kind of work.
yeah.
Birdman is another very good
Hmm.
one for me too because it's just one of those. Again, there's nothing I want to take away from that movie.
Hmm.
And there's nothing else I really want to add to that movie either. It's just they knew what they were doing. How it progresses and how it builds itself is just it. I mean, basically, it's that meme with I think it's Martin Scorsese. I think it is where he just like has his hands out. It's like cinema.
Cinema. Yes. You
Like
mean Martin, Mr. Cinema, Scorsese himself. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
just yeah, exactly.
No,
That's
Bird
definitely one of those like yeah, it's just absolutely amazing.
100%. Like Birdman, I still remember watching in the cinemas,
Hmm.
and that was one of the first times, maybe even the first time, I'm like, damn, this Emma Stone girl knows how to act. Like
Oh yeah,
I've seen Easy A before, but I liked it, but cannot say I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna be a superstar. No, I'm like, yeah, she was fine. But like
yeah,
in the Birdman, that was the first moment I'm like, damn, son, this girl, all right, I like her, and should be big, and now she is, yeah, she is very big. 2 Oscars,
oh yeah, yeah.
and How to Train Your Dragon. So I watched the first two, and I really love them both.
Hmm.
I need to rewatch them, and I still haven't seen the third one because it
Yeah.
hasn't been streaming anywhere for a longest time.
Hmm.
And then because I do collect physical media, I
Yeah.
managed to snatch the entire trilogy on like a Blu-ray for a very good
Hmm.
price. So like it's on my shelf, and I would love to rewatch all three of them, or
Hmm.
well, the first two, and then watch the third one to actually like remind myself because I remember like really liking all both of them.
Yeah. I'm double because we're about to go to the next one. I'm double checking the exact release date on something real quick.
Okay, okay. Well, in the meantime,
Just to make sure it
I'll
fits.
set you up. I'll set you
Yeah.
up then. So, what is the last quote unquote adult movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So, anything between 2002 and 1975.
This one I watched semi recently for the Sip Pop Writers Room.
Okay.
But the first one that really kind of comes to mind is the Deer Hunter.
Oh,
That one I think
okay.
is kind of a controversial pick,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just one of those things. Again, I don't know what I would want to take away from this. Can't tell you anything I would want to add to it.
And
It's just
the cynic in me says 1 hour
1 hour. Yeah, take 1 hour
because
out of it.
that's a
It's a
movie
long movie. I do
that
agree with you there.
that's a movie I need to rewatch because like I
Hmm.
only seen it once and
Yeah.
I remember thinking this was fine but this was fucking long and
Oh yeah.
I didn't get much out of it but also it's been like 10 years so I was
Hmm.
probably well not probably I was dumber then so I think now
Yeah.
I would get much more out of that so I do like need to rewatch it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just a fun. I shouldn't say it's a fun movie.
I was gonna say
It's
it
definitely
is
not. It's not a fun movie.
I
It's
don't
definitely.
remember it being
It's one of
fun.
those movies where I can't help but sit there and just watch, be thinking, what's about to happen next? What's
Hmm.
the next? What are they gonna do next? Like biting my teeth. What's about to happen here?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because like you have they do a great job in that movie of taking like very calm moments
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden being like, okay, and tension.
Yeah.
And they know that the way this pace is just beautiful for me, just on how they actually managed to kind of pace things like that.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think some other movies from that time. I mean, obviously, I think Last Crusade came out during those
Yes.
times.
Yes.
Yeah, that's another one that I definitely feel like would absolutely fit into the. This is a very good like 5-star movie. Yeah, I mean it's very like more popcorn cinema.
Hmm.
Don't did Jaws come out in that period, or is that older than
Just
1975?
no, Joe's. I think it's 75 actually.
Yeah, Jaws, another great one. Granted,
Yes.
don't like how it gave the idea of perception of sharks being the man eaters, but
Hmm.
again, great movie with plenty of moments of just like very nice calm, and then all of a sudden knowing exactly when to lay in the tension.
Hmm. No, Joe's hit
And
me straight away. Like Joe's, like no problem with that.
yeah,
And Last Crusade, I grew up on those three movies. I grew up in on Indiana Jones on all three of those movies. So
yeah,
I cannot pick my fate. I genuinely like it is between the Raiders and Last Crusade. I
oh yeah,
cannot like to me like I don't understand the people who are clear on any of them because
yeah,
like to me it's genuinely a flip of a coin on any given day because like sometimes I'm like no Raiders of course and sometimes like yeah but Last Crusade has Sean Connery and all that and and I'm like but they are both well even the third like even the second one I'm a fan of
The
because again
Temple of Doom, I think, is the clear bottom of the ranking on those
is
three.
yes
It
yes
it's my ranking on it is that it's like one and one A are Temple of are Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade.
hmm
Two is Temple of Doom. Three, I'm
well they
kind of
never made
putting
any other ones so like they stayed this is what
we,
stayed the perfect
we don't
trilogy
we're not admitting the other two exist.
yes like they did
Number
they
three is the Young Indiana Jones series. Number four is the Indiana Jones fan fiction I wrote in high school. Number number five is the most recent one. Then there's about 20 feet of crap, and then there's Crystal Skull.
See, the thing is, this might be my hot take, but like and I wrote this in my letterbox review, I think. I genuinely think the last one was so average, not even bad, so
Hmm.
average that it lacked the Spielbergian touch.
Yeah, that's
Where
completely fair.
I genuinely believe I think many people are like you, higher on it than Crystal Skull. I'll
Hmm.
give you that. That's a popular opinion right now. I have a feeling, and I'll make a prediction officially, give it about 10, 15 years. And I think people, when they start to revisit the Dial of Destiny, that's how
Yeah,
forgettable that fucking movie is.
I was gonna call it the Golden Circle. I was like, no, that's definitely not it.
Yeah,
That's the
it's not.
Kingsman
That's
movie.
Kingsman, yeah. But like I genuinely think when people like there's gonna be enough time where people will revisit both Crystal Skull, Kingdom of Crystal Skull, and Dial of Destiny back to back, they'll be like, well, neither of them are great movies.
Yeah.
But the Crystal Skull still has that Spielberg touch where like there are sequences to be enjoyed. Whereas the Dial of Destiny, I actually was kind of mildly optimistic about it because the trailer, like, I was like, that looks fun. Like, and I love James Mangold, but
Hmm.
just it was so painfully average. And every time there was like the famous
Hmm.
theme song, I'm like, it just feels like fan-made movie rather than
Yeah.
a quote unquote serious Hollywood movie. Like, and James Mangold is a great director. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not saying I would have done a better job. No, I wouldn't. But the same, like, but he's not Spielberg, which nobody is. Like,
Hmm.
he is probably the best director of all time. So, like,
Yeah.
it's such a hard fucking task to go up against something like that. And I think he delivered the best he could, but it's
Yeah.
still just, yeah. I honestly feel more people, like, give it some time, and more
Hmm.
people when they revisit specifically those two movies in a vacuum, like, let's put aside the original trilogy. I genuinely think there's going to be a resurgence, like, kind of like what we had with the prequels. There's going to be a resurgence of people like, hey, Crystal Skull, not a great movie, but it's much better than what we gotten after.
Yeah.
I genuinely
True.
think can see imagine that. Again, I might be totally wrong.
I can see that. It's just Crystal Skull just in general and Dial of Destiny both probably will fall under this, but it might fall under the whole. We're really trying to recapture something we just need to let go.
Yes, yes.
So
But again,
I can
money.
see that very much for both, but money, yeah.
But
I need to buy the Indiana Jones video game. I know you don't talk about much about gaming, but I kind of want to get that and play it because that might give me more of a feel of like, oh, this is what we need for Indiana Jones than another movie. Like,
I've
there's the
heard it's
idea
pretty
of,
good. I've
yeah,
heard
I've
it's
heard
pretty
it's
good,
pretty
right?
good. I've heard it's
Yeah,
not like the greatest game ever, but it's a good enough game where it's worth the money.
yeah.
It's like I've heard some. I was about to say I've heard some rumblings about them doing a reboot of Indiana Jones. I'm just sitting here thinking, as
Of
much as I
course.
think Pedro Pascal would be the one who would knock it out of the park, and he would
Mm.
probably be given the role because I don't think Matthew McConaughey or Glenn Powell, aka Discount Matthew McConaughey, I don't think either one of them quite fit the mold of Indiana Jones as well as Pedro Pascal would.
I feel like
But
I
I
can.
don't want to see that either.
Look. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
I think in modern Hollywood right now,
Hmm.
I can kind of imagine Glenn Powell because I feel like
I
Glenn Powell
could,
is
but at
on
the
a
same
track.
time, I don't know if Glenn Powell is exact. I don't think Glenn Powell would fit the role quite as well.
I feel like Glenn Powell is on a track that Chris Pratt was supposed to be on like 10 years ago. Like
Hmm.
I thought Chris Pratt was gonna be the next like Harrison Ford of Hollywood, and then he kind
Yeah.
of fizzled away
Hmm.
for various reasons.
Yeah.
And like he's still relevant, he still shoots movies, but like he's
Yeah.
not an A-lister. And
Hmm.
I think Glenn Powell has the opportunity to kind of become. like Brad Pitt, Harrison Ford
Hmm.
kind of types, where it's like,
Yeah.
to your point about Pedro Pascal, I don't think that's ever gonna happen just purely of ageism in Hollywood, where like
Hmm.
nowadays you want a franchise, you don't want to who Pedro Pascal is like 100 years old in Hollywood's eyes.
Yeah.
He's
That's
not.
fair.
He is not. But like, in Hollywood's
Hmm.
eyes, he is fucking corpse.
He is
No,
he
no,
is still an
no.
older character. He's an older actor, yeah.
Like
Granted, it does
he's
feel
a
like unless your name is Meryl Streep,
yes.
if you're a male actor, you're gonna have a much longer career than a lot of the female actors. Granted, I say that,
Correct.
but you also have Jamie Lee Curtis, who's having a career renaissance,
Yes.
and you have various other like female actors who are getting older in years, but also having that career kind of like I said, a career renaissance where it's like
Hmm.
we're really appreciating them more in their older roles. But it's just
Hmm.
a lot more male actors feel like they keep getting those additional roles even when they are older than the female actors do,
Yes. No, but look, it's
which is
gotten much
dumb.
better.
But
Yeah, no, it's gotten much better recently, where it's like, we see like, older actresses and actors.
yeah.
But again, we unfortunately we see that Hollywood ageism come into play, especially for franchises, meaning they will not take anybody as quote unquote old as Pedro Pascal. Because
Hmm.
again, if you want to build a franchise for next 10, 15 years, no, we cannot have this, pretty much walking corpse here. Like, no, no, what are we doing? We need Tom Holland in person. We need somebody who's like 20,
Tom
30.
Tom Holland as Indiana Jones. I've not watched Uncharted. I've seen plenty from Uncharted to form an opinion.
It's
We don't need Tom
fine.
Holland as Indiana Jones.
Like Uncharted is the most okay movie you'll ever see. Like Uncharted is genuinely like a Indiana Jones, like discount Indiana Jones,
Hmm.
and it's like offensively okay movie. I think Tom Holland is
Offensively okay
fine.
is great.
Like it's
I
genuinely
need to
it's
keep that one.
you can have it for free, honestly.
All right.
Like Uncharted is look. I've played all the video games. It
Hmm.
didn't offend me. Like I think some things they were shooting for, it was fine. But
Hmm.
like, I think the problem with the modern Hollywood is like in many there's a formula, and you see where the movie is going.
Hmm.
And the great filmmakers, what they do is at least have a fun with it. But
Yeah.
now it's the interpretation of fun nowadays for many
Hmm.
mediocre filmmakers like, oh yeah, fun. Let's have them quip. Yes,
Hmm.
everybody's gonna
Yeah.
be quippy and quick and witty,
Mhm.
and whilst they fight, and that makes fun. That's fun, guys. Why are you not laughing? Why are you leaving the
Yeah.
cinema?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Man, that's got to make me think of the idea. It's like if you want me to suspend my judgment or realism,
Mhm.
you need to give me a movie where I don't care about the realism.
Yeah, like again, like if you set the world, if you set whatever movie, a world, where
Hmm.
oh yeah, this is kind of a fantasy, anything can happen. All right,
Hmm.
I'm on board. Gimme, gimme,
Yeah.
gimme. Like if you give me, and like I always say this, like I understand there is only infinite, finite amount of ideas, so
Hmm.
everything is, play on this, variation on this.
Yep.
We've seen this before. That's not the point. The point is
Hmm.
the great filmmakers and minds behind, or screenwriters and actors, they find the twist. Okay, yeah, this is like this, but there's a twist on this,
Hmm.
and we have fun with this. Like I cannot think of any example right now, but there's many examples where it's like, yeah, this is not like, oh yeah, no wait, Materialists. I just
Yeah.
watched it in the cinemas today, and I even wrote in my Letterboxd review. This movie doesn't do anything new. Like
Hmm.
this deconstructs romantic comedies, and if you have a half a brain, you know where this is going. You know what it's
Yeah.
trying to say. You know what it's gonna say. However, how Celine Song says it and how she goes about it, and the heartfelt moments she inflicts in that movie, this is why I'm very high on that movie.
Hmm.
Despite, it didn't really. No, there was a one moment that surprised me where it's like, oh, we're going there. Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not gonna spoil anything because it's a new
Hmm.
movie. But everything else is like, oh yeah, duh. Oh yeah, duh. But again, it's a great movie.
Hmm.
Because again, the idea, not because it's not about the idea. It's more about how this
It's how
filmmaker,
you execute it.
yes, how this filmmaker who's like, Celine Song, I'm gonna follow her wherever she wants to go.
Hmm.
Because I know she is smart, she has a vision, and she will inflict any of her movies with her lens that's so
Hmm.
unique. I'll be there. Like,
Hmm.
she can, if she tells me, her next movie will be commercial for fucking Apple, I'll be like, all right, that's a
Okay.
bold choice. Let's see what she does.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
like
like
that reminds me,
bold
like
choice. I might buy those apples.
that reminds me of an actual real life example. Have you heard of Bong Joon-ho, what he said about Alien movie, like how he would like to shoot an Alien movie?
I don't know if I have, but there's a lot of stuff I know Bong Joon-ho is considered doing
Hmm.
that I'm just
No,
like, after
no,
watching Parasite, that's another one I could put in this list here.
yeah.
But after watching Parasite, it's just like, I don't care what this man wants to do. Let
Hmm.
him do it.
There was so when he was promoting Mickey 17, I'm talking too
Hmm.
fast. Uh,
Yeah.
when so somebody asked him about like Alien
Hmm.
or something like what you would like to do, like your dream project, and he said like I've always been a fan of Alien franchise, so I
Hmm.
would love to direct it, but I don't think they will let me because what I would like to do is to have a musical with Alien in it.
That would be
And I'm
interesting.
like, see, that's the thing. That's my first reaction was,
Hmm.
well, that's interesting. But then my second reaction, like a second later, it's Bong Joon-ho. Fucking let him do it.
Yeah, let him do it.
If anybody might nail it, it is him. Like,
Hmm.
if anybody, like, if like, look, if Michael Bay tomorrow announces he wants to do Alien musical, fuck that. No, 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 no. Let's
No.
not. No, no, no. Like Michael Bay is a
It's like
good
Michael Bay, how much ketamine are you on right now?
like Michael Bay is a good director in his own lane, but not for
Hmm.
this stuff. But if Bong Joon-ho says, "I have this weird fucking quirky idea, it's an alien musical," I'm like, I don't know where you're going with this, but okay, I'll be there because
Like tell
this
me, it's like lean
intrigues
back
me.
in chair, tell me more.
Exactly, this intrigues me, and like that, like like I find it hard to be excited for like any new movies because like oh yeah this is play on this play on this but
Hmm.
I'll still watch it but like
Yeah.
so when somebody says this very quirky unique stuff is like oh yeah I thought about this I would like to do
Hmm.
this but nobody will let me ever like Quentin Tarantino and Star Trek I'm like
Hmm.
that would be a very
I would watch that.
me too.
I would not want to call it Star Trek canon,
Hmm.
but I would absolutely want to I would be able to be in the theater watching that because I just want to see what he would do.
Yes, and I said that before, and I'm not even the biggest Tarantino fan. I like the
Mhm.
guy. I don't
Yeah.
adore him like I would
Hmm.
adore Bong Joon-ho,
Hmm.
but I respect him enough where I'm like, hey, this would be at least something new,
Hmm.
right? I'm not
Yeah.
saying it'll be good. It might be total shit, might,
Yeah. Yeah.
but but if this prolific director who's achieved quite a few good
Hmm.
things says, "Oh, he's got a really fucked up idea for a Star Trek movie," let him cook.
Oh
That's all I'm
yeah,
saying.
exactly. Yeah, that weirdly makes talk about Quentin Tarantino. This is just a random aside,
Okay,
but
we have a lot of random asides here,
yeah,
so
we have a lot of random
feel free to
asides.
continue. Not a problem.
Yeah, I'll say this one real quick. Then we probably should get to the next topic. But
All
I've
good.
been watching a lot of stuff recently, like stuff with Mel Gibson who's come up, and like how it seems like a lot of his movies are just like, why is there so much torture and gore happening here right now? Like, what the devil? And I was like, maybe I commented at one point about, I was like, maybe torture to Mel Gibson is like feet to Quentin Tarantino.
So he gets off on it.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like because Quentin Tarantino, it's so weird that like he has a movie where like a stripper pours liquor down her leg, and he has a character drink it off of her leg, and he casts himself into that role.
And not only any
It's
stripper,
like,
Salma Hayek,
uh-huh.
first of
That's
all,
when you're just like,
and he wrote that scene, second
mhm.
of all. And I'm
He
like,
casts himself in that scene.
yeah, it's the equivalent of me, like, being a writer and be like, yeah, Salma, this is a scene, very important scene. So you're gonna be full butt naked and like you're
Mhm.
gonna shake them titties in my face. But yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
this movie by the way, and it's totally
Mhm.
necessary to this plot. It's
Yeah.
totally necessary.
Yeah.
And
It's
like,
like I'm not saying it's not I actually haven't seen that movie specifically of his catalog. I'm not
mm,
going to say it's like a bad movie or like that scene doesn't really belong in the movie based on the tone of it, but it is weird that it's like he cast himself in it. It's like the idea of being like, okay, we're gonna have a scene
mm,
where we're in an Italian restaurant and there's gonna be a guy who comes in and orders like 15 Italian items. And by the way, I'm gonna be in that movie. It's gonna be
mm.
that scene, but the guy ordering it, you're just like, does he just really like Italian food?
I like how you went with Italian food. I went with titties. I do
Yeah.
appreciate that. No, I did see that movie. It's from Dusk Till Dawn,
Hmm.
and that scene. I don't think it's pivotal to that movie. To
Yeah.
that movie, but
Hmm.
it is the last scene before the twist happens. I don't know
Yeah.
how much you know about this movie. Like, it's quite famous, where
Hmm.
the movie is like a story of two halves, where the first half is like, oh, kidnapping, oh, quite dark, oh,
Yeah.
and then the second half happens like, oh,
Yeah.
we're doing this now. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's, and again, interesting.
Hmm.
The,
Very.
did it have to have that leg scene? No. Good for Tarantino, I guess.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
Anyway, what is the last quote unquote old movie you would rate 5 out of 5? So anything 1974 and older.
For that one, there's really two movies that come to mind on that.
Mm-hmm.
One I've talked about on the Sip Pop Writers Room before. It was one of the ones that I recommended for Aaron to cross off his list, and that is A Night to Remember.
Nice.
I'm gonna save a comment about that for one of my movie hot takes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely one of those movies where it's like there's again nothing I want to take away from it. It's an amazing retelling of the Titanic disaster. The entire time you're watching the character, you're just going, I don't know who lives and who dies. And as the disaster's unfolding, watching how people's like opinions are changing. Like you have the guy who's like at the very beginning of the movie, it's like, oh, he's this guy. Keep an eye on him. I know from another ship he's a card shark.
Mm-hmm.
And then later in the movie, he's basically changed. He's entirely different character. He's then just going to somebody and be like, "Here, take this, deliver it to my sister."
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, that is a monumental change.
Mm-hmm.
That and the fact there's like a lot of different people who have had like some major roles and they're notable. Like obviously, I can't remember the. I think it's. I cannot remember the guy who plays Lightaller, but I know he's had a hell of a career.
Mm-hmm.
But Harold Bride is played by David McCallum, which if anybody has ever watched The Man from Uncle or NCIS, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because funny enough, talking about him in The Man from Uncle, I think he still holds the record for most fan mail that has ever been delivered to one person in TV history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why, but I think there's a lot of different actors. There's a lot of different threads that are kind of going there. And like I said, you're just kind of sitting there going, who's going to live? Who's going to die that they have
Mm-hmm.
here? Like, there's some where you're like, okay, I know of that person. I actually know their story from the sinking.
Mm-hmm.
I know how if they're going to make it or not, but I don't know about this other person who's like an amalgamation of some other characters.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just something where you're like, you feel the tension the whole way through, and you're just sitting there kind of just in a way almost hoping against hope. Plus the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you also have the Californian, and there's every once in a while you're like, it's kind of like when you read the actual book, it goes through all the details about the thing, and then it just kind of just waves his hands like, meanwhile,
On this other
off
shit
in the
that could have saved
distance,
them, that could have kind of saved most of the people. Yep.
it could have done something, and it's been vilified.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's one that kind of it's one I've watched somewhat recently. I would definitely rate 5 out of 5.
That's a great
And
movie.
another one that I really need to get back to
Mm-hmm.
is Casablanca.
Oh, yes.
So that is another one, and that is personally probably my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, from beginning to end, it's just one of those like I don't know how they're going to resolve this. I don't know who's going to win in this situation. I don't know. Like, is he going to go to try to where he gets the girl in the end? Is he going to do what he thinks is the right thing in the end?
Mm-hmm.
All this other stuff going on. But no, it's just a great movie. Humphrey Bogart plays that role amazingly.
And talk about a template for movies to come. Like how
Oh,
many
absolutely.
I'm not even talking like, movies stealing lines from that movie, like, he's looking at you, kid, or,
Hmm.
we always have Paris or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm talking about just the structure, like just, guy, oh, she enters my life again after all of
Hmm.
this and they need to
Yeah.
resolve it. And
Hmm.
it's such a powerful movie. It's such a great movie. It's
Hmm.
the fact they hired many actual refugees at the time where the
Hmm.
World War II was happening whilst they were making
Yeah.
it. Like, and they, during the scene where is it a French anthem that plays? There's like an
Yeah.
anthem.
It's the French anthem that plays
Yeah.
as they're like, I think they start doing some kind of thing with the Germans that are there, but then all of a sudden a bunch of people start singing the French national
Yeah.
anthem.
And
Like
how
almost
some
as a
of
form
them,
of protest, and there are people actually
yes,
crying because
yes,
they're refugees from France who escaped before
yes,
the Nazis got to them.
yes. And like in the real, not only in the movie, but in the real life.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, and again, so that's why, like, this is like Casablanca is one of those rare moments where the movie, like, not just reflects what's happening, but almost like surpasses that, like, in a
Hmm.
way where it's like it's insane. Like, it's insane. I'm due for a rewatch. I only watched it, I think, once in its
Hmm.
entirety, and I loved it. And I
Yeah.
need to introduce it to my fiance because I think she would absolutely adore this movie.
I
Like,
think she would.
it is a masterpiece. And Humphrey
Hmm.
Bogart, like, yeah, like there was a period of time where there was nobody cooler than Humphrey Bogart.
Hmm.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. Correct.
yeah, no, great choices for both. Great choices for
Yeah.
both.
And now I'm thinking about there's two other ones that
Tell
definitely
me.
fit into the older category.
Hmm.
They came out the same year. Both won, well, at the time were considered the highest rated Oscars, but only one of them is officially considered the first Best Picture winner.
Mm. So
But there
Wings.
is Wings.
Hmm.
For a silent movie, it is amazing. Like there's few movies I'll actively say deserve a remake.
Hmm.
Wings is one that I will pound the desk until they do it. That we need to have a remake of Wings.
I still
Like
haven't seen
same
it.
setting, like put it in the same setting,
Hmm.
like First World War, United States joining the First World War, but give me a remake of Wings.
Yeah.
Like that is something I want to see.
Hmm.
Hell, Glenn Powell, have him star as the main character.
All right. No, I
And
still
then
haven't
the
seen it, but I'm keen to check it out. I'm aware of it. Yes.
Yeah. There's one shot specifically in that movie that's a sweeping shot where they're
Hmm.
going across like essentially a restaurant or a
I've
bar or
seen
something like
that.
that,
Yeah,
and
I've
like
seen
you're going
that.
across several tables, and you're sitting here going, "They did this in 1920s?
Hmm. Hmm.
How?"
Yep. Yep.
Like get like I want to see the modern version of this movie.
Hmm.
And then the other one is like I said, film that came out the same year is Sunrise: A Song of Two Humans.
Yes. Yes.
That's another silent movie that is just there's so much of it that's perfect.
That's one that I would recommend to anybody who
Mhm.
believes that, oh, it's silent movie, it's gonna be boring. I
Yeah.
cannot relate to this.
Hmm.
I need some dialogue. No, you don't. If you watch just this movie,
Hmm.
like this is such a touching movie. Like I remember, I was skeptical about it at first, and I watched it only once, long time
Hmm.
ago. But even then, I was like, damn, this is kind of hitting me. And then the ending happens. I'm like, damn, this actually hit me like on a level I wasn't prepared for. I'm like, this is a
Oh yeah.
movie from 1920, like 7 or 8. I was like,
Hmm.
holy fuck, this is
Yeah.
good.
Like
This
holy
is
shit. I need that. Like how I did not know they could make such amazing stuff back then.
Yeah, and again, like so that like yeah, like and I cannot wait to watch finally Cross the Wings off of my list because like
Hmm.
I'm due to actually watch it. I just need to find the time for it. But
Hmm.
so those are some great choices.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think, or what would you say is your favorite movie decade then?
For that, I kind of want to fall or lean into either the 1990s or the 2000s.
Okay.
Because if, I say that simply because of the fact that in both cases, I'm not going to say they're going to have the best movies ever, but there are just so many of those movies that I think are just consistently good
Mm-hmm.
and that are, even if they're not necessarily good, they're rewatchable
Mm-hmm.
enough to where I will constantly find myself going back to those movies.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two primary ones I would go with. Then after that, probably be the 1950s because that's when you're starting to get into the golden age of cinema.
Mm-hmm. Funnily enough, because of Seamus Plug, the Wasteland retrospective,
Hmm.
well, Shane and I and Adam
Hmm.
co-host? Question
Yeah.
mark? I always there's a joke that Shane is actually the host and we
Yeah.
are just tagging along.
Hmm.
Um,
He
because of
found you at
that,
the wasteland and is guiding you.
yes, yes, and because of that, I actually watched quite a few older movies because because of him, and it's yeah, it's like the and because of that, I learned that technically the golden age apparently used to be 30s and 40s, and only
Hmm.
recently the 50s kind of tagged along. So
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like I even commented on him when he read the info about it. I was like, I always thought 50s were also considered, and Adam was like, yeah,
Hmm.
same. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not the only one.
I'm not going crazy.
Yeah. No, but yeah, so like 50 like look, 90s, 2000s, there's so many amazing movies. I don't think
Hmm.
the, the more I talk to people about especially decades, the more you realize there is not a bad decade for movies. Like ever since
Yeah,
movies
there really
started.
isn't. But there's just one of those like it almost feels like a case of just preferences. I
Yeah,
mean,
what's
you
your
have listed as
preference?
favorite decade.
Yes,
Decade.
yes.
So it's like what's the decade where that's where most of the movies you go back to and just rewatch for just the
hmm
fun of it is.
hmm And also, we obviously will be biased towards like 90s, 2000s,
Hmm.
2010s because
Yeah,
that's
the
where
decades
we
we were
grew
growing up.
up. Yes,
Hmm.
exactly. So even I try to actively watch like older movies, but if you look at my letterbox stats and the curve,
Hmm.
yeah, it skews heavily to like 2000s plus. It's like,
Hmm.
I think there's like 2009. I think I've looked 153 movies for that year alone,
Hmm.
which is that's my most like like watched year. And I
Yeah.
would love to that be for every single year, but
Hmm.
that's a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so you've hinted at it before, so give us some hot movie takes then. What is your hot movie take?
I have two.
All right,
My hottest take is probably the one that actually probably fits in the hot take the most.
all right, let's hear it.
1997's Titanic is not the best Titanic movie.
Hmm. Because of Night to Remember?
A Night to Remember, I think, is far and away the best one. And in general, with Titanic media, I don't know if I would say that 1997's Titanic is the best one
Mm-hmm.
or a second best maybe. Because don't get me wrong, it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where I could make the argument that you didn't need Titanic to tell Jack and Rose's story.
I mean, they were made up, so you did.
Well, they're made up, obviously, but you didn't like the Titanic. You could have taken Jack and Rose off the Titanic and
Yes.
maybe let's say Lusitania
Yes.
or put it on just a random ship,
Yeah, correct.
and you would be able to tell the same story. You would not
Mhm.
like Titanic just happened to work,
Yes, it's in the
no pun
background.
intended, as the perfect vehicle for it, but no pun intended.
Not so perfect. It's hung like,
Yeah,
eh.
fair point. But no, I don't. I kind of feel like I we would have had a better Titanic movie, at least for me in a way,
Mhm.
if you just stuck to some of the actual stories that happen on board. Because there are definitely a lot of stories where you're just sitting there just thinking, like, especially you read about some of them, you're just like, I don't know how I didn't know about this, or this is wild.
Okay, give me like one.
Trying to think. There's a guy who was on board the Titanic, and
Mhm.
it's he was a third class passenger, one of about eight that were from China
Mhm.
that were on board. All of them were third class. He was one of six to survive.
Mhm.
In the 1997 movie, there's actually a deleted scene where, as Officer Lowe, I don't know how to pronounce that actor's name. He's Welsh, and the Welsh language is exists purely to confound those who speak English.
Yep.
But as they're searching like through the field of the bodies after they go back to after the ship is sunk, there's a deleted scene where the you hear somebody shout out in Chinese. I can't remember the name of the actual survivor, but he managed to survive by getting on top of debris, and like it's an amazing story that happened.
Mhm.
I mean, you obviously know of the Strausses,
Okay.
Isidore and Ida Strauss. They're the old couple in the movie, in the Titanic movie,
Oh, who died together in that bed?
in their bed. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they actually, from what I understand, they died probably on the actual deck of the ship because
Mhm.
the place they were seen, they were sitting together on a bench.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of some of the other wild stories. There's a guy, Jack Thayer, who survived. He was one of the people who survived on the bottom of collapsible B, the one that was floating upside down after the ship sank.
Mhm.
And I don't remember who he was talking to and working with, but there's one point where the ship is beginning its final plunge, and the guy he's with, the two of them basically realize we got to get off the ship. About
Mhm.
to go.
Mhm.
So the guy that he's with, jumps off his back facing towards the sea, while Jack jumps off facing the sea. And Jack Thayer survived. He never saw that other guy again.
Mhm.
And there's just a lot of different stories. Like there's definitely a lot of names that I cannot remember off the top of my head. Like there's a guy who survived the sinking, and then a couple years later, I think won gold at the Olympics in tennis.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think he was even told he's probably never going to be able to walk or play tennis again afterwards.
Mhm.
And it's just frankly a miracle. Not only that he survived, but frankly a miracle he was able to then compete competitively again.
Yeah. But the problem with that, Joseph, is who in that version of the movie, where's the steamy sex in the car? Right? Who's
Do
got
we
that
need
like,
to have a Stevie Sex in the car?
yeah, look, I mean the well
I mean,
it
don't get me wrong. I mean,
It was the most
paint me one like
profitable movie for a
yeah,
while, so like
yeah,
apparently we do.
true. It's true. I mean, the whole painting like one of your French girls thing that was an awakening for me. I'll tell you
I
that right
mean,
now.
that being Kate Winslet also helped.
Yes,
So,
true.
but like, no, look, I'm being cheeky, but like,
Hmm.
like I've watched both.
Hmm.
I think I still have a bit more affinity to Titanic because A, it's newer, even though I really like love
Hmm.
older movies. But I think I've seen it more. Even like I haven't watched it that often, but I think I've seen it two, three times.
Hmm.
So whereas I only watched A Night to Remember once, and I
Yeah.
really liked it. I just
Hmm.
it there was something that stopped me from loving it. I don't remember what, but I just remember being entertained, but not
Yeah.
100% there, if that makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like but it's a great movie, so I kind of see why, and I think it's obviously historically more accurate because like
Hmm.
James Cameron, let's not bury the lead, he borrowed quite a few elements from that movie. So when you
Hmm.
watch them back to back, it's like, hey, it's like the Back to the Future meme. Hey, I've seen
Yeah.
this movie before.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. James Cameron definitely had great moments of just how he was filming
Hmm.
Titanic. Like the scenes where they're shooting off the rockets, trying to attract attention of any ship,
Hmm.
and then like all of a sudden you have that moment where it just like cuts out from the aerial view, and you just see this like tiny light
Yep.
on the surface of the ocean. You see the tiny light from the rocket go off, and it's just a massive amount of black. You're just like, even though you know like from history, the Californian is just about 10, 15 miles away.
Hmm.
It gives you the gravity of just how alone they are.
Yep. Yep.
And I'll give James Cameron plenty of credit for stuff like that.
No, 100%. Like, look, he's a technical genius. He
Yeah.
is like, there's a reason his movies are making money because he can transfer you to whatever
Hmm.
world he is making the movie about. That's why we're getting
Hmm.
four more avatars.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people who actually loves that fact because I really like
Hmm.
love those movies. So,
Yeah.
like, like as long as he wants to make them, yeah,
Hmm.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
You mentioned he had a
I just do
oh
I
yeah.
do kind of think, like I said, just so that as much as I do think he did a great job on Titanic, I do kind of feel like it would have been nice if we could he instead of creating the characters Jack and Rose,
Yeah.
were to make a movie where he's really focusing on those historical characters and is like displaying like the sinking in real time
Hmm.
and just how they're handling it. Like, you don't have to like have every single person on board the ship casted, but you can absolutely have like the stokers in the boiler rooms. You have some of them casted. Like obviously you have like the people who are in the engineering spaces keeping the lights on to the very last moments.
Hmm.
And like you could have those moments where like, and that's why I think A Night to Remember is so good because you have that moment where you realize like what the guys keeping the lights on when they go down and talk to them in that movie, you realize these guys are basically being told you're probably not going to survive.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're not saying it out loud, but they're but the intent of the words are basically like you're probably going to die here,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
still just like, all right, boys, get back to work because they know like they're the only ones that are going to be able to keep like as to keep the lights on as long as possible, so that someone might be able to get there. We might be able to save one more life.
I think to your point about like historical accuracy, I can imagine nowadays, like speaking of remakes,
Mhm.
there will be another
Yeah.
Titanic.
Hmm.
But if it needs to happen, can we make it a miniseries? Can we make it like
There was a
HBO,
2012 miniseries, but I would agree making a
like
Titanic miniseries that's on HBO. Yeah, no,
big
I would
budget?
like make it like Chernobyl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like one of those
exactly.
one
Yes.
make it like a mini series where like for Chernobyl for me it's just one of those things where like at the end of every single episode of like the first four episodes,
Mm-hmm.
especially
Mm-hmm.
the first and second one, I'm just sitting there thinking, oh fuck.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
what do you mean I have to wait another week for the next episode?
Yes. So like I can imagine like like some sort of like again make it 4, 6 episodes like hour and a
Hmm.
half long and for historical accuracy and I think if somebody were to do that we could have a like proper masterpiece on our hand
Yeah.
like because again the story is fascinating there's so
Hmm.
many different characters there's so many actual people that lost their lives or didn't because there were
Hmm.
many survivors as well so
Hmm.
there's definitely material to work with there, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And I like the idea of that. It's just one of those. maybe have the first episode be like if you're doing a miniseries, have the first episode be leading up to in the very beginning of the maiden voyage.
Mm-hmm.
Second episode be ending with them suddenly realizing the scope of the disaster that's about to unfold. Like
Mm-hmm.
depict the iceberg scene, and instead of like cutting at the very end of the iceberg scene, have it keep going until they suddenly you see Andrews like laid out to Smith, basically saying this ship is going to sink.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the third episode, getting the boats ready, the first launching of the lifeboats. The fourth episode be the Titanic's last hour as people are realizing, oh, we are about like this ship's about to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last episode is like everyone in the boats having someone go back, like a few boats go back for survivors. Those boats trying to figure out what to do during that time. Molly Brown threatening to throw somebody over the side of the lifeboat.
Yeah.
But stuff like that up until the Carpathia rescues them. That is a good point. I would definitely love to see that.
Me too. Like honestly, the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this actually sounds interesting. Especially if you give it like a
Yeah.
big budget, give
Hmm.
it. I don't need A-listers in Hollywood. Give it like a
Hmm.
decent actors. Like like give
Yeah, I
me
mean,
somebody
maybe
decent.
do something like what's some like 1917.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah.
something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
obviously, like the captain's an A-list actor, the
Mm-hmm.
officers are A-list actors, but then you get to like the passengers and stuff, and you get to more of those people that they're not the like cream of the crop actors. They're ones that like this could be their breakout role. That would be
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, as
You
for my other hot
mentioned.
take,
I
yeah,
was gonna say yeah.
you're gonna say that. It's probably not as hot of a take, probably more tepid warm. We need to stop having so many twist villains. Like, don't get me
Mm.
wrong, I love the idea of a twist villain,
Mm-hmm.
but we can have more characters who are villains that are just unabashedly evil.
Oh, okay. So like,
Yeah.
what is your definition of twist villain?
Trying to think of some good examples, like Turbo in Wreck-It Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
That's one good example of a really good twist villain. Like you don't see that coming from anywhere. You're just like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then like that's like his fact that like he's there even though you don't see him as that character, and then you kind of just all of a sudden pull the mask off, quite literally. In fact, in that movie, you're just like, wait, hold on, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then but then you have like Bellwether in Zootopia.
Mm.
Like you could have made a much better twist villain with Bellwether if you had made a few different choices, but it just also feels like one of those twist villains. You're just kind of like, did did we really need this moment?
Okay, so
Like,
when he said that at first, I thought you mean like the villains that are like villains from the start without us having to explore what made them villains in the first place. Like in a way where like, sometimes people be evil because they are evil.
yeah,
That that's what I thought where you going. And I'm
no,
like, oh, okay, never mind.
that's kind of more like the sympathetic villain, where it's just like the villain.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, we don't need to overdo the sympathetic villains, and if you're gonna do that, you need to actually give me a reason to actually truly sympathize with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But for twist villains, it's the ones where it's like all of a sudden, like you're just wondering, like, who's the bad guy here, and all of a sudden it's like, waha, it's me.
It's been me
Like,
all along.
mhm. Like I think it is it. I don't remember what it is. It's the one that has The Rock and shoot, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds. Is it Ryan Reynolds? I'm thinking of the guy who played Deadpool.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, yeah.
Yeah, it's him and The Rock and Ryan Reynolds, and it's like The Rock's like the whole movie going, I'm clearly not the bad guy here. Then at the very end of the movie, he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally the bad guy.
Do you mean
And
the
Ryan Reynolds'
Netflix's
character just
Red
like,
One?
yeah, Red One. And then like, I'm just thinking of the Citizens video where it's like the thumbnail of Red One, like everything wrong with Red One. It's just that scene with Ryan Reynolds just with the most what the fuck look on
Yeah,
his face.
yeah.
Because it's like if you're gonna give us a twist villain, you need like for one, you need to make it believable. For another, you need to also make it to where the story really kind of rewards you for having that twist villain. Like Wreck-It Ralph does it greatly.
Mm-hmm.
Zootopia, as good as its moments are, twist villain doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but then you have like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish,
Mm.
and you have I can't remember the name of the character, but he's played by John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Well, that character is just unabashedly evil.
Yes. Yes.
Syndrome kind of fits a little bit as a twist villain in the sense of like he's clearly the villain, but
Mm-hmm.
the twist is that oh, I used to be your biggest fan, but then you rejected me,
Yeah.
and that angered me. So I decided I'm going to make it to where everyone can be a superhero, so there's no superheroes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he still is like the most like unabashedly he is just evil kind of character.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can like you don't have to have a twist villain. You can just make your villain like, yeah, no, this guy is just evil. There's nothing sympathetic. He's just evil.
To me, that like I agree with you. To me, like I just remembered, like that's one of my biggest like pet peeves about modern movies. Like anytime there's a movie that involves some sort of like agency or
Hmm.
something like that, like big organization, there's always a oh, there's a twist. There's a person inside that works for that for the
Hmm.
villain, and I'm like. That would be a twist where like it's been reused so many fucking times. I honestly, it would be a twist if there, if they didn't, if there was
Hmm.
nobody like that, if there was no rat in that team.
Yeah.
Like you're like anytime that a movie happens with that kind of setting, you're always like,
Hmm.
all right, which one of you people are like are is the rat? Which one of you is the
Yeah.
twisty? Like like genuinely at this point, there would be a twist where like, oh no, there's there's I don't know agents, cops,
Hmm.
and robbers,
Yeah.
and both are the same team. There's not on and nobody's on either side of the team. That would be a twist. They're like, oh, nobody actually flip-flop. There's no like rat in that. That's actually a twist. Because like
Hmm.
it's nowadays it's like almost expected. It's like da-da, like
Yeah.
and yeah, but I do no, I do agree with you. I think there's an art to villains, and
Hmm.
given we've seen like all different shapes, sizes, and performances of
Hmm.
different villains, it's hard, I think, to come up with something that feels fresh.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same like a problem in Hollywood when like like the same thing like, hey, this formula used to work. Let's do this 100 times.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's just one of those like you need to know when your villain needs to be a twist villain or when should they just be sympathetic or when they should be unabashedly evil.
Yes.
You shouldn't pick one just for the sake of like, oh, I want this to be the twist. I want to have a twist villain because twist villains are cool.
Yeah, yeah. And it sometimes it feels like that. It's like, oh, why
Hmm.
is he the villain? Oh, because it feels cool. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
there's like I have an idea for like a D&D campaign where I definitely will have like a twist villain in there.
Hmm.
But I kind of
Hmm.
feel like for that to work, it needs to gestate long enough as the idea and make sure I have things set up properly to where it's like once that reveal happens, the everyone else who's in the party is playing is just like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, yeah. No, I
As
get you.
opposed to just one of the as opposed to we're like, aha, I have to a villain. They're all just like, yeah, we knew Greg was evil.
Yeah.
It's like,
Aha.
uh, he's like didn't set this up well at all. But
Yeah.
those probably might be my two main hot takes when it comes to movies.
Okay, I like
Like
it.
Titanic definitely is probably the hottest of the two.
Yeah, yeah. But I see where you're coming from, and
Hmm.
to be fair, I'm not like having seen both. I
Hmm.
don't think I can push that
Yeah.
much, to be honest. So like, yeah,
Hmm.
I actually tend to agree. Like, yeah, agreed.
Hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
with that we can move to the underrated section, where
Hmm.
I'll ask you, Joseph, who do you think is the most underrated actor we have right now?
Ironically, I'm going to say Glenn Powell.
Nice.
Like I yes, I did just refer to him as
That's what we
discount Matthew
call
McConaughey.
that's what we
Uh,
call foreshadowing. Okay, that's what
foreshadowing.
we.
Yeah, I mean, like Glenn Powell. I mean, I think he's a really good actor. Like, there's not much I've seen of him in that I
Mhm,
can think of off the top of my head, but what I have seen him in is just like, oh yes, this is amazing. This is perfect.
mhm. I think
And
many people refer to Hitman as his like not breakthrough, but like many people like love that performance. I thought it was decent,
yeah,
but I think he's got that charisma where I don't think we've seen his peak like as
mhm,
an actor.
yeah,
But he's got enough charisma and charm where I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to follow wherever he leads me. That's why I'm
mhm,
super excited for the Running Man. Not
yeah.
on like, Edgar Wright directing. Oh, I'm in.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
in from the
done.
get-go. Like
I need
he
no more. I need no
yes.
additional instructions.
But when I finally watched the first trailer with him, because now it's playing in the cinemas as well, I'm like,
Hmm.
this seems like like this is gonna be fun, and I genuinely think a big part of it is gonna be Glenn Powell. Like I genuinely I think he needs like this movie to hit and maybe one other,
Hmm.
and I think he might genuinely have like like Harrison Ford like career where it's like, hey, you want a relatable guy, you want a like
Hmm.
cool guy, you want a charismatic
Yeah.
guy, call me. You
Hmm.
know, we'll
Oh
see.
yeah. I'm just thinking like the way I described him, discount Matthew McConaughey just works so well because it feels like they look the same. They almost like dress the same. Those who watch college sports, they both root for the University of Texas. Like,
Mm.
like it goes so much deeper than you'd expect. But I do think, like you said, he's probably going to very much become one of those like big names in film going forward.
Well, he's got everything going for him. We'll
Hmm.
see in about 10 years. Like,
Yeah.
let's not be, remember,
Hmm.
Jonathan Majors had everything lined up for him.
Yeah.
All he had to do is
Army
not
Hammer had everything lined up for him, and then we got those texts that came out, and you're just like,
all he
Jesus
had to
Christ.
do not to fucking be abusive person, and
Yeah,
he failed.
don't be a shitty person, and oh God.
And he failed.
Hmm.
So, like, like that was like the biggest fumble I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Hmm.
Like, this
Yeah.
guy, like, literally was presenting at the Oscars, was supposed to be the next big
Hmm.
villain for the MCU, was
Yeah.
like, was getting Oscar talk, like, oh yeah, he's
Hmm.
like, he's the new Denzel. And suddenly, like, oh shit, never
Yep.
mind.
Never mind.
It's
It's
like,
like it's like a hard drop off. Like all Thelma
I,
and Louise drive off the cliff.
like, yeah, and I'm like, damn, we'll see what happens with him because, like, look, many people have short attention spans, so I think he's gonna come back in a
Hmm.
couple of years. It will be very interesting because that dude
Hmm.
has talent. Like, it pains me to say that, but like, Last Black Man in San Francisco,
Hmm.
that's a great movie, and
That
he's
is a
great
very
in that movie.
yeah.
It was great. Like,
Hmm.
unfortunately, he's not a great person. But
Yeah.
same could be said with Kevin Spacey.
Hmm.
Great actor,
Yeah.
one of our best in the last 2 decades. Not a great person.
Not a great person. God, how Kevin Spacey handled that too is like the worst thing in the world. Like getting
You mean by
accused of
killing
like
everybody?
sexual, uh, well, maybe that, but the idea of like, oh, Kevin Spacey's been accused of sexual assault. How is he going to respond? Oh, he's
He,
going to talk about questioning his sexuality, dude. Uncool.
I always admire, or not admire, I always found it intriguing how he's
Hmm.
the luckiest person ever because, like, all four people who have, men who have accused him have died under very interesting circumstances.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, and he kind of jokes about it, and I'm like,
yeah. Did he have
okay,
them killed? He may have had them killed. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say he
allegedly,
did. I'm not going to say
allegedly.
he did because he might have the money to make sure that I don't go anywhere
I was gonna
anymore.
say,
But
with my luck, he's gonna fucking listen to this shit and like, okay, he's
like,
next,
it's like,
motherfucker. Where does he live?
hmm.
Scotland? All right, I'm on him.
This Luke guy, take a shot.
But I'm just saying, like when the first one died, I was like, hmm, and the second one, I was like, what? Third one, uh-oh,
This
uh-oh.
feeling that less like this doesn't feel like a coincidence
This
anymore.
feels like like Vladimir Putin kind of shit. Is like every news guy like that ever
Like
spoke badly of
I
me,
like he talks bad about somebody in Russia talks bad about Vladimir Putin. Next day, oh, they just
suicide,
happened to accidentally fall out of their window.
slept in a shower.
Yeah,
Killed himself like but like with 8 bullets in his back. He is suicide.
yeah,
And like
yeah. Like there's a video. I remember there's one video of a guy, like one of his critics that recently like fell or jumped out of a window to kill himself. Like there's footage of him going out the window, and it's the most like I'm pretty sure that's footage of a man being thrown out of a window. Granted, I'm saying this thinking, well, I guess my Russian vacation that I never had plans is not going to happen now, but
yeah, no, like as a
yeah.
any chick will well, not unfortunately not any because nowadays apparently many chicks are with Russia, which is I find
Mhm.
fucking bizarre due to our
Yeah.
history. But
Yeah.
like many sane ones, myself including,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
would tell you never trust a Russian. And
Yeah.
it's a stereotype, but it's stereotype for a reason because they
Hmm.
did bad things, not just to us, but to
To a lot of
Czechoslovakia.
people. To a lot
Yeah,
of
but
people.
they did occupy us for 21 years.
Yeah.
When they felt like, hey, they don't have enough communism there. Let's fucking ram it them to their
Hmm.
throats by
Hmm.
taking their
They're
territory.
it's like, huh, they're protesting? Send in Z tanks.
Yes. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah, we're
uh,
going back into the getting canceled area again.
that's all right.
But yeah,
But who do you think is the most underrated actress we have right now?
this is going to be an interesting choice, I think. But I'm going to say Michelle Rodriguez.
Hmm.
And I'm saying that because the fact that I feel like she's been typecast into the we need a tough woman in this role.
100%.
Michelle, you busy?
Yes.
Because I mean, like, because I'm sitting there thinking like Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Yeah, she's playing a character that's clearly intended to be a barbarian.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
her comedic chops in that movie are great.
Hmm.
Like there's one scene like where they're like the character who's the druid like transforms into a deer,
Hmm.
and like all of a sudden it cuts to afterwards. He's like, "So it was a deer," and then you see Chris Pine's character just like, "What?" Like just kind of turned like the most like, is that what you're worrying about right now? So it's just I love her in that movie, and I just think she has some comedic chops. So I think really if she were to be able to ever get out of that typecast, like we just need a very gruff, tough woman,
Hmm.
she probably would be very, very good.
I genuinely think she like talk about somebody who we haven't seen the peak of, and exactly as you say, because of the typecasting. Like she's
Mhm.
obviously made a lot of money, so like I'm sure she has a nice life, and
Yeah.
I can say I can see a future where she's one of those actresses where give her a good role, good script, and she genuinely might win an Oscar. I
Yeah.
genuinely
No,
think
I
she does
agree.
have it in her, like, but we just haven't seen it. And everybody's like,
Mhm.
wait, damn, Michelle Rodriguez can act? Which, like,
Yeah.
is a stupid thing to say because obviously, duh. But at the same time, she's being wasted in Fast and Furious. She's being,
Hmm.
like, wasted in many other movies because,
Yeah.
like, as you said, she's the tough chick. She's like,
Yeah.
hey, we have this strong female character. Who's busy? Michelle?
Hmm.
Nah,
Michelle, you in
never.
the middle of anything right now?
Nah,
Yeah.
Vin Diesel is on strike. I'm free. It's all right. Let's
Yep.
go.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. So, who do you think is the most underrated director we have right now?
That one's kind of tough for me because the fact that when I there's it's one of those things where if you were to ask me to name five directors
Hmm.
that are like new to directing, I would probably struggle with that.
Hmm.
Like my gut in a way says Wes Anderson, and
Hmm.
that mostly is just because of the fact that he has such a unique way of making movies.
Hmm.
It's like the most like yeah, no, like if you see like directed by Wes Anderson, you know what you're gonna get.
Yes.
You know exactly what's on the plate in front of you,
For better or worse.
for
Yes.
better or worse. You know
Hmm.
exactly what you're gonna be getting.
Hmm.
And you know you're gonna probably have a good time at the same time with that. But I kind of feel like that's the case. That's the one that fits the most for me. I mean, that's
Hmm.
kind of a cop out just because the fact that he is a very well known and famous director. So obviously he's going to be very good.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
just one of those. He has such a style that most people are probably going to like immediately kind of shy a little bit away from that.
Hmm.
So
I feel like I don't know if underrated. Like I see where you're coming from. Like I'm not,
mhm,
I see where you're coming from. I wouldn't say. I think he's one of the most like basically not even like polarizing because that's the
mhm,
wrong word, but in a
yeah,
way almost is because as you said, he's
mhm,
got his unique style and many people love it.
yeah,
Many people don't. Many people
yeah,
do not gel with that because he's such a unique character where all of his movies are so like the Phoenicians. I don't know if you have seen Phoenician Scheme yet.
I have not. I want to, but I just haven't.
I in my letterbox review I wrote, I feel like Wes Anderson has groomed us for his entire career to deliver this most Wes Anderson movie ever. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, just like it almost feels like, and I loved it by the way,
Hmm.
but it feels like, oh, you think you know my style?
Yeah.
Here's this on drugs.
Hmm.
Here's my style times 10.
Yeah.
Like this is such a like and there's almost nothing real about it in the movie in a
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
But it's
It's just one of those
also
things where I
Mhm.
I'll let you finish your thought in a second. It's just one of those things where like I decided to Google before this like most underrated directors, like find a list on IMDb of the most underrated directors.
Mhm.
The guy that put it, it's like number one, Darren Aronofsky. I don't know if I'd say he's an underrated director. I think he's like he properly attributed as like being a good director.
I feel like he's probably like underrated in a sense where average Joe, average
Hmm.
person on the street, if you
Yeah.
ask him, "Oh, are you excited for a new Darren Aronofsky movie?" I was like, "Who?"
Yeah.
And then if you name it, "Oh yeah, the dude who did Requiem for a Dream or Black Swan or this movie," you're like,
Hmm.
"Oh," or Noah probably would be his biggest, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like his movies.
Hmm.
But like by
Yeah.
name only, in that sense, I can see
Hmm.
why many or some would say he's underrated because like
Yeah.
I don't think he's got a name recognition. Like even Wes Anderson, I think he does have the name recognition in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the second one on this list too is like David Lynch. No,
Look,
I
I
don't think
fuck with
he's
that.
underrated.
I fuck with that, but like I don't think he's underrated. But I think that's one of the most polarizing
I mean,
figures ever because like
he
you,
his movies are definitely a choice,
yes,
but
but
I would not say he's an underrated director.
no, he is, but he's not. Like
Yeah,
in my eyes, he should have won at least one Oscar. Like
true.
Mulholland Drive, he was nominated,
This is
but
true. Yeah. I mean,
but
one that's on here ranked fourth, Yorgos Lanthimos. I have no idea how to pronounce his name right.
Yorgos,
Fair.
yeah. Hmm.
That's fair. I can see. I would probably say that count as an underrated director.
Even though with him, like I think he's kind of on the same wavelength as Wes, where
Hmm.
now because of like especially Poor Things, The
Yeah.
Favorite, like now more people than ever know his name. I've
Yeah.
heard of his name, so like now it's he's not as unique or not unique, sorry, as unknown as he was
Hmm.
like even 6 years ago
Yeah.
or like seven, yeah. Like because yeah, Favorite is fucking yeah, it's 2018. Jesus Christ, time
Hmm.
doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. What is time?
Yeah. No, but David Lynch to me, just to kind of finish my point, I was like when he died this year, I was so fucking sad. Like that hit
Yeah.
me in a way I didn't expect because I knew he was sick, but I
Hmm.
had a this naive hope that we would get at least one more movie.
Hmm.
Because like for me, I learned to really appreciate him, and I genuinely think there are not many that understand the art of cinema and the language of
Hmm.
cinema as much as he did. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, like, no matter how you whether you vibe with his movies or not, whether you like his movies or not, he
Hmm.
takes you to like he every movie he creates this specific feeling and universe, and he
Hmm.
wraps you in it. But many things he wraps you in are dark,
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and not happy thoughts and
Yeah.
things, feelings. So I know, I understand why many people would find movies like that repulsive.
Yeah.
Fair, that's fair. But like he has such a unique vision and such a unique craft where I genuinely feel like he is my top three favorite movie directors of all time. Like it's not
Hmm.
even a yeah, just behind I
Yeah. I
would say
wouldn't. I wouldn't
Scorsese
be
or
able to.
Spielberg.
I wouldn't disagree with you there at all. Like, but yeah, it just feels weird to see him like on a list of like underrated
Yeah,
directors.
no, yeah,
You
like
know, I kind of think like Wes Anderson kind of fits there, or Yorgos Lanthimos. Now I'm looking at this list again. Yeah, that definitely kind of feels
mhm.
like that tracks as underrated.
But I
But he's
understand.
probably well on his rise though.
Yeah, but I understand where you're coming from with Wes because definitely it's one of those. Wes is one of those figures where it's like you are either into him or not.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
think there's much of a middle ground with Wes Anderson.
Hmm.
Like as you
Hmm.
said, when you see a movie by Wes Anderson, you know exactly what you're getting, for better or
Yep.
worse.
Oh yeah.
So I know the next one is difficult because there's so many movies, but do you have one or two you would want to shout out as underrated?
I'm trying to think of some good ones that are off top. I mean, the one I want to say is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Nice, yeah.
Kind of just, it feels like it's a really campy movie,
Mm-hmm.
but anybody that has played Dungeons and Dragons looks at that movie and just goes, "Yeah, this is exactly how it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is exactly how this movie is supposed to be." They understood the assignment they were writing this movie. I
Yes.
mean, again, that kind of fits into the idea of like we kind of have a twist villain in a way
Mm-hmm.
with shoot, I can't remember the name of the actor off the top of my head, but where it's like turns out like one of the guys that was part of the party turns out to actually be a bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
but then you know he's a bad guy through like most of the movie, so it doesn't really fit as a twist villain.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I just can't help but sit there and think, yeah, no, they understood the assignment, and I remember exactly how loud I laughed in that movie theater when all of a sudden they're in the middle, like they're in this like dungeon area, and all of a sudden out bursts this red dragon, but it's the fattest dragon you've ever seen. It's
Oh yeah.
like as soon as I saw somebody refer to it as Thunder Chonk, I'm just like, yes, that is correct. That is the right exact way to describe that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No,
That's kind of the first one I think of.
that's a great choice. And like I think I mentioned in the last episode, we talked about this movie as well, and I'll mention again, like that's one of the prime examples, the trailer looking
Hmm.
like absolute shit show. I
Yeah.
seen the trailer, I was like, this is gonna be fucking horrible. This is gonna
Hmm.
be bad. That's why they're releasing it, I think, like February, March. I was like,
Hmm.
yeah, this tracks. And then when people who I trust start to review it and actually say, oh, this is funny, this is good, this is actually
This
a
is
very good
phenomenal.
movie.
You're like, all right,
And I'm like,
something's going on. They got something here.
yeah. So like,
I see what they're cooking.
yeah, exactly. So like, when I put it on finally, not in a cinema, but I,
Hmm.
put it on at home. I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, like, and again, never played a single D&D campaign,
Hmm.
never. But I had a blast. I thought it was a
Yeah.
very good movie. I thought it was a funny movie, and I think on a rewatch, I am gonna love it even more. The
Oh, for
bit
sure.
that killed me, like the graveyard scene. There was a lot of
Yeah,
jokes
that
in
was
that,
hilarious.
and
Like
the
when they're
and the
leaving, it's like, yeah, one more question left.
yeah,
Shit.
and the and there's a cameo by one famous actor, but the way there's a twist in that
Hmm.
cameo, and when you spot it, when it's like, and he's so in on at the joke, I was like, so not only there's a cameo, I didn't know it's coming, that's
Hmm.
great, but then what he actually does with that role and how he fits in that scene, I'm like, this is so fucking funny. Like,
Yeah.
without spoiling in a way, like anything, like I
Hmm.
was like, this is so fun. I loved, like that was a great scene.
Hmm.
No, that's a great. I think that's an actually good underrated movie because it did flop at the box office, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think it flopped, but it wasn't one of those like where it made so much money where they were just like, we need to bankroll a sequel, which
Hmm.
I'm disappointed about. I want there to be a sequel to this movie.
Of course,
I want to watch a sequel of this movie.
I would be up for a sequel as well, to be
I
honest.
personally, I want to see if they ever do make a sequel. I want to bring them to bring the exact same actors back,
Hmm.
kill off their characters immediately, and then all of a sudden they all show up as different characters because that would be so damn funny
Hmm.
if that were to happen.
Okay,
Like, I would absolutely love that. Meanwhile,
that sounds.
I mentioned the fantasy football draft I was doing
Hmm.
uh early, so I'm about to make a pick here. But we
Hmm.
can go on to the next subject though, because I know exactly what I'm doing there.
No, yeah, it's fine. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
see, so you are also a TV guy.
Hmm.
So let me hear. Do you have a TV show that you would reckon that's underrated?
I don't know if I would. I'm trying to think of a good TV show that I would definitely say it's underrated.
Hmm.
I mean, I did talk a little bit earlier about it. I think more people need to watch From the Earth to the Moon.
Hmm.
I don't know if I truly say it's underrated though.
Hmm.
I do think more, like just in general, more people need to get their eyes on that movie.
Yeah.
Uh, I generally, I like. I mean, I definitely kind of feel like I'm more TV, but I'm kind of out of touch with some more modern TV shows.
Hmm.
I do think there are like, especially when it comes to TV, there's like some specific episodes of TV shows. I'm just like, they really were cooking here when they were making this episode.
Yeah.
So one I might go with, I think, would be one of the Star Trek series, and that might be Star Trek Voyager.
Okay.
I'll admit it's definitely not one of the best Star Trek series that's out there,
Hmm.
but I think there is a lot of stuff there people aren't paying enough attention to. That I'm just like, you need to have eyes on this. You need to focus on. You need to watch some of these episodes because they're going for something here, and they are swinging hard, and people need to pay attention to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only seen the original Star Trek like maybe one or two seasons, but
Hmm.
not fully. And I
Yeah,
really want to watch the new generation with Patrick Stewart. Is the
the
new
Next
generation?
Generation.
Next,
It's Next
next generation.
Generation. Yeah,
Thank you, next generation. But
yeah,
I
and
know,
streaming right now is Strange New Worlds, which I wish
yes.
they were going to get more than 5 seasons of that. I kind of hate that we're having a lot of shows just go. They get 5 seasons
Hmm.
max
Hmm.
because
No, like
I
I
want to see a
know.
lot more.
No, I know there's quite a few. There's like in the lower decks, it's quite popular.
Hmm.
Like there's like I know there's like the Voyager. I know there's like Deep Space Nine. That's from like
Hmm.
back in like a mid early 2000s.
Yeah,
Like that's one of
or
those
like
like
well the '90s kind of, but yeah.
yeah, that's one of those like I want to tackle because I've seen all the Star Trek movies.
Hmm.
I did it once and yeah, and I actually enjoyed quite a few of them. So like I know like I would like to tackle the TV shows,
Hmm.
especially at least the original, the Next Generation, and maybe Voyager. Like I heard
Yeah.
decent things about it. And but yeah, like it's again just finding the time because there's so much stuff to watch. And it's just
Hmm.
like, especially like the next generation is like seven, 8 seasons. Every season's got
Yeah,
like 20.
and they're like 20 episodes. That
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, I kind of wish we would get more episodes than 10 episodes in a season. But on the other hand, Yeah, I do get the idea. If you're being more economical with those series, you kind
Mm,
of want to make sure you have those things set up where you're not being like, okay, we need to have a bottle episode because we don't have the budget.
yes. Or, or like what they used to do. Hey, this is a clip show. I remember when we
Hmm.
used to do this. I don't know if
Shades of
Star Trek
Grey
does
from
that.
Star Trek, Shades of Grey and Star Trek: The Next Generation season two. God, that is one of the worst episodes of TV.
Is it
Like,
because
I'm
it's a
not
clip
even
show?
joking. It's a clip show.
Ah, see.
Like, there's very specifically it's a whole thing where like Riker gets stabbed by a plant, and it's like if he's having good memories, his conditions get worse. But if he has bad memories, like his condition gets better because that somehow is like the
Ah.
way that his immune system is be able to fight it. And the whole
Mm.
time I'm sitting there just thinking, the hell? Like, what are we on?
Yeah, it's like every time somebody tries to argue with me, oh no, the TV used to be better when we got like 24 episodes a year. I'm like, was it? Or was it just,
Hmm.
you love a lot of them, but you forget how many filler episodes and clip shows they used to be?
Yeah.
Like, like I'm not saying it doesn't have its merits, like a longer TV shows
Hmm.
and like a regular, yeah, of course, 100%. But let's not pretend
When
like
you
let's
have
not
10 episodes opposed to 22 or 26, it's like, okay, I need to be economical with this.
let's not but again, I genuinely think like Netflix and streaming, I really like what they done with the genre of TV where they did revolutionize it. Where like yeah, if it's if you have story for 6 episodes, do six. If you have story for
Yeah.
nine, do nine. Like we
Yeah.
don't have to have constraints, and we don't
Hmm.
have to have filler episodes. We don't have to have clip shows. We don't have to have shit like that. We have a
Hmm.
story that shouldn't have any filler because
Yeah.
you should know what you need to make. The fact that then they take fucking 3, 4 years between seasons is ridiculous.
Hmm.
But that's a different matter. But
Yeah.
anyway, no, Joseph, this has been a blast.
It's been
Uh,
fun.
Thank you
Gone over
so
a
much.
lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yes, same, likewise. So before we say goodbye, I've
Hmm.
asked you so many questions and you've been kind and patient enough that you answered all of them. Let's flip the table. Do you have a question or two for me?
Hmm. Trying to think of a good question that might fit. I'll give you a long pause so you know exactly what you need to cut out of this.
That's all
But
right.
all right, here's a question. If I were to tell you I was going to be in Scotland tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
what is the first place you would take me to?
Mm. First. Well, I guess the obvious would be like a good fish and chip shop because, like,
Hmm.
it's not just the English or
Yeah.
England that has fish and chips.
Hmm.
We have some good ones here too because we are next to the sea. Well, to be
Yeah.
fair, UK is an island, so you cannot be further away. Like the furthest you can be from a sea is like 78 miles. So pretty much
Yeah.
anything, is next to the sea.
Within 2 hours, you're probably easily be in the
Yes,
ocean.
yes, easily.
Hmm.
But yeah, so like I think like great fish and chip, and I know some places that are like excellent, like they
Hmm.
are rated like even top 10 in the entire UK, like ranked
Hmm.
highly. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then we would take a trip. Great thing about living in Scotland, I always say, if you have a car, even if you don't have a car, you just take a bus or a train, you're like half an hour away from from seeing some amazing nature, whether it's hills, whether it's forests, whether it's some like scenery that kind of looks like New Zealand. Like
Yeah.
genuinely, it's so mesmerizing. Like for example, the movie Prometheus,
Hmm.
the opening sequence with the bubbly dude. I am 99% sure that's Isle of Skye. Many people
Yeah.
think, oh, that's like New Zealand or something. No, that's in
Hmm.
Scotland.
Yep.
That was shot here. Like a lot of the outdoor stuff was shot here in Isle of Skye, which is place of its own. It's part of Scotland, but it's place of its own. It's like tiny islands, and
Hmm.
it's just beautiful nature. It's just mesmerizing, and you kind of feel like when you go there, you kind of feel like, damn, have I just transported to like New Zealand?
Hmm.
Like that just feels unreal. But
Yeah.
it's honestly like here, like you can have anything you want. The only thing we don't have is the weather to enjoy it
Yeah.
properly. Like,
Yeah.
here the summer means 24 degrees Celsius, which is, I think, 60, maybe 70 Fahrenheit,
Yeah.
something around that.
That seems
So
reasonably comfortable to me.
it is, but we are next to the North Sea, and there's
Hmm.
the cold north wind all the
Yep.
time. So
I
many
can believe
times you
that.
see, many times you wake up, you look out of the
Hmm.
window, and like, oh yes, nice and sunny day. I'll just wear my t-shirt,
Hmm.
long short sleeve, no problem. You go out, and suddenly it's
Wind's
like,
blowing, you're like, jacket.
oh fuck, when you're in the sun, it's
Yeah.
great. The
Hmm.
moment you go into the shade, it's like, oh shit, it's kind of chilly.
Yeah.
Better
No,
get a
I can believe
jacket.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Got another question is, and it's one of those things that I've
Hmm.
always jokingly said it like this, but I want to know if it's true.
Hmm.
How real is it up there when someone from England just goes, "Come on, boys, we're British," and they basically the Scottish, the Northern Irish, Northern Ireland, and Welsh just go, "Fuck off."
It is quite true, yes. Like there is nothing worse you can say to a Scottish person than, "Oh, are you English?"
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the greatest insult you could possibly throw at somebody from
or
Scotland.
like British, like to an extent, depending on who you meet, like they might be like, "Well, we're not, but it's fine. Okay, I understand."
Hmm.
But if you tell up to a proper Scotsman or a woman, "Oh, are you English?
Hmm.
Oh, you are dancing with the devil."
Yeah,
Like you
you're
don't joke
asking to
about
be,
that.
you're asking for somebody to basically run you through a wall.
Like you don't joke about that at all. Like like here, like many Scot. Like I'll give you a great, no, not great, but I'll give you an example how it's divided.
Hmm.
When the Queen died, many
Yeah,
people here were very happy about that.
yeah,
Many people were singing songs about
hmm,
that.
yeah,
And like again, given like it's like look, is it a bit of poor taste? Sure.
sure.
Is it also true that like she presented against some bad shit and there's like historically there's always been a divide between Scotland and England and then they don't like to be ruled by the English? So
Also,
therefore like there
yes.
is a historical kind of build up of this like
Hmm.
tension and sometimes when something like that happens people are like hey woo. It's like yeah,
Hmm.
also true. So
Yeah, it's true.
like when Margaret Thatcher died, I was actually here when Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady herself, died.
Hmm.
I still remember not only people were celebrating, there was a pub, quite a few, I think, but I
Hmm.
remember the flyer was like, "The witch is dead. Come have a free pint on us." Like,
Yep.
Margaret Thatcher died. Come have a free pint of beer
Yeah.
on us. And the song from The Wizard of Oz, "Hey Ho, the Witch is Dead," entered that week the
Oh yeah.
UK top 10 again because people were demanding to play that on the radio so much it re-entered top 10.
I can believe every bit of that, to be completely honest with you.
And she shafted a lot of Scotsmen in her times. From what I understand, her policies hurt a lot of people here. So, yeah. There was a
I
joke
can
made
believe
by this
that.
Scottish comedian. They were discussing on, like, one of those panel shows UK is famous for. There's a comedian called Frankie Boyle, and he's very hardcore. Like he fucking tells it as it is, and he's got some dark jokes, but I love him. And
Hmm.
basically, he was on this panel show where they were discussing how the Margaret Thatcher funeral at the time, obviously, was gonna
Hmm.
cost taxpayers £6 million, right? And he quickly, in a second, he was like, 6 million? For 6 million quid, you can give every person in Scotland a shovel, and we'll dig a hole so deep we'll deliver her to the Satan personally.
So they're Satan themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and he was so fucking quick about it. And I was like, that's like, I was like, damn,
Yeah.
that's dark, but also true.
Damn, that's dark, but fair. That's also
Yeah.
fair.
So yeah, like it's definitely like yeah, British, English, no, like
Hmm.
British, depending on who you bump into.
Hmm.
English, you don't want to open
English,
that door.
no.
You don't want to.
No.
No, most people, you don't want to open that door.
No, for sure. No, I understand that. Yeah, no, I don't know if I have much in the way of other questions because we did discuss quite a bit about some of the stuff in the movies during that
Yes.
time. So
Yes.
any
So
question we may have had with that's kind of already that ship has sailed.
that's all good. So
Yeah.
again, like I need to thank you for your time.
Yeah.
I do always appreciate when people are
Hmm.
willing to spend time or like, as much time as you have spent here with me. So
Hmm.
thank you so much. If people have enjoyed our conversation, where is the best place for them to follow you?
I'm still a little bit active on Twitter. I think my Twitter handle is Joseph Chn Davis.
Okay.
I have a Blue Sky account. I admittedly am not very active on Blue Sky right now,
Hmm.
mostly because of the fact that just I haven't quite gotten into where it's like it's the level of like me focusing on it that other things are.
Hmm.
I do stuff on Twitch though occasionally. JC Davis 314, which I think is the same handle as my Letterboxd account. Currently, I've been playing some Hollow Knight there. So,
Okay.
Silk Song's coming out pretty soon. Been meaning to play through some Hollow Knight, and finally taking the time to do that. So,
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So those
yeah.
those links will be down there in the description so people can just click on them and
Yep.
follow you if they
Hmm.
wish. And as for me, as always, In Movies Lost on Letterboxd, here every other Friday. And this podcast is part of SPDM Crew Media. Special shout out goes to HiFlyer Creative for designing my logo. And to see what else they have happening, visit hiflyercreative.com. And until next time, bye bye.